I'm not sure what the hell happened, but something broke somewhere that shouldn't have broken. I think me clicking off of that scene at the wrong time basically ruined everything. I need to like redo this whole thing so it actually like, you know, doesn't do that. But hello, hi, hello Shala, hi everybody. Hi, it's me and time for Tyranny. What did we do last time? We just explored the dungeon, right? Whoa, Archibald, what are you doing? You stupid fool! Oh. Hold on. Archie, let go! Archie grabbed onto the belt that's keeping my bathrobe closed on my body, and he's pulling on it. Let go, you stupid fool! Nah. Doofus cat, he like hooked his claw and he couldn't unhook it. Doofy creature. Alright, Mira's just looking like, what the hell are these creatures doing? Turn on my lights so that's when it gets dark, it doesn't get dark. And, let's see. Let us go to the game, I suppose. But yeah. If you haven't turned on the lights, I mean, yeah, if you don't got anything to do with the lights, why even, like, here, right? Flashbang, though, will they get automatically turn on? Okay. Man. Oh yeah, last time we did a dungeon, but we also went into this cave here and we got a whole city going on underground here. Right. Okay, that's a thing I forgot even happened. I play too many games. It's hard to keep track of everything going on. Let's see. Okay. Investigate the situation before throwing. Okay. We will let them live for now, these refugees. Okay. We need to bring Lantry here. I actually want to see the artifact. Yeah, we found the artifact to go through the storm, right? We unlocked another spire as well. Do not displease the chaos. Yep. We need to figure out. So far, there's a lot of evidence against the Unbroken, or no, the Disfavored, and not a lot against the Scarlet Chorus. But then we've not been interacting with the Chorus that much, so maybe that's why. We got 3 out of the 5 spires. I don't want to bring Landry. Okay. Unless we can, like, get him here without going all the way back. I wish we could call, like, do you want to wait some days to call back? To call a different guy? That would be nice, but no. We have to go and see a dude. Isley. What's up? Now that we decided this town's fate, everybody is willing to talk to us. With a lisp inside, the forge bounds Bith and fastens a strap around one of her pauldrons and drops the metal appendage to the floor, exposing a muscular figure. She quickly traces the sigil with her ungloved hand and touches a hammer dangling from her smock. Frowning as it stubbornly remains inert and unsympathetic to her magical entreaties. She glances up as you approach. Sorry, Fatebinder, my spellcraft hasn't been cooperative of late. I take it you're not here to talk about my preoccupations? Anything in particular you'd like to discuss? She offers a forced, polite smile, but can't maintain it for more than a moment. What do you do? What happened earlier with the hammer? I was embarrassing myself again. Seems like that's my only reliable talent these days. Her cheeks grow flushed as she looks to the ground. Don't you Don't want your pity party right now. I thought I was a competent napper, practically a journeyman in skill. Lately, even the simplest preparatory spells vex me, like that sorry display you witnessed. She raises her eyes to meet yours. Okay. Something about this place is hollowing me out from the inside. Whatever forge burns inside grows cold. Let's not speak any more of it. You're becoming one of the sleepless, aren't you? I think I am. Started when I broke my hand under the mallet. Rookie mistake. I asked Reef Town to heal it, but things have gone sour ever since. Yeah, a beast lady with the healing powers has been healing these people, but then it came to be that the healing came with side effects of not being able to sleep and going insane. Whoops. And now she's been banished. Okay. Meow, Pandora. What's up, Pandora? You gonna show up on camera? Almost. You're almost. Oh no! Look, Pandora's there. Even if she's kind of just jostling Archie. Well, that's her pet cam debut. Even though I've shown her before with my phone cam. You wanna leave, Pandora? You leave as soon as you arrive. Goodbye. It's okay, Archie. She'll be friends with you someday. Doofus boy. Let's see. Can't sleep, can't summon a sigil to save my life. Worst of all, she lowers her hand down to her stomach, frowning as she thinks better of saying more. I don't know how much time I have left. I just want to enjoy whatever last moments I have with Chaspaws. Okay. Vagrant by heart, yeah. She can't stop. Though she has climbed onto my bed a couple of times to sleep, which was nice. Although not often she does that. Okay. A vagrant. What do you do in the forge? I'm Jasper's apprentice. Have been so for the last few years. She scoops up a small clay pot and spins it between her fingers. Napping wasn't originally my specialty. I apprenticed under Master Erasma back in Lethian's Crossing, but a freak accident meant that she'd take her secrets to the ceramic arts through the void. Jaspers had just finished his work and was returning north for more training with the guild, so I joined him. Long story short, we stumbled upon the wound and stayed, and took on a new trade with Jaspers as my mentor. Do you like it? I do. Jaspers introduced me to napping, and it became easier than pottery, my first craft. If we hadn't fallen in love and married, I might have returned to the north and stayed in Kiros' good graces. She slowly nods as if recalling long-forgotten memory. Goodbye. Tonvas. Okay. Napping, I wish. Have you heard of the wonderful world of sleep? What if it was very short, but came with the same benefits of long sleep? Man. Let's see. The forge-bound apprentice stares intently at the amber hide he holds aloft, pounding its surface methodically with a heavy iron mace. The light from the nearby hearth dances across his eyes. As you draw closer, the pungent odors of tanning agents thickens in the air. He turns to you wearing a stoic expression. Why awake when you cannot? Man, that's especially, important to these folks who, are distinguished by the fact that they cannot sleep, you know? Is there a problem? You need something? What's your job? This is my third year apprenticing under Chaspaws. Between that and trying to keep this element running, I'm never short on work. He flicks a chunk of animal fat from his belt buckle and glances around the chamber, frowning. Whenever I can, I slip away to the surface with the woundkin for a good hunt. Caves and hollows aren't meant to be for the living. Man, those riders were cool, yeah. Okay. I wish we could have seen them move around as well. And not just stand there. I wonder, now to think about, have any other games done something cool like that? I suppose Hollow Knight's Beetle thing was like that, right? And that one was neat. Be the change you want to be, yeah. Gotta make my own. I get my materials from the kill. Tusk for tools, hide for my sturdy clothing, the rest goes to tents, cots, and we haven't even gotten down to the meat. The wound they understand better than we do. It's probably moddable, yeah. Okay, it might be really, really very janky, but it's probably doable. I suppose I'm also a napper. Everybody's a napper in this place. The napless. Jaspos has to pass down his art, right? But everyone knows my passion and skill is in tanning. How's apprenticing for Jaspos been? Who the hell is Jaspos? I don't remember. Difficult. Don't mistake me. I pledge to follow him, and my loyalty doesn't waver, but I damn well wish we just returned to the north as planned. Instead, I'm stuck inside these old walls, surrounded by Bane and branded as a traitor in Kiros' eyes. He scrapes a worn knife against the whetstone dangling from his belt. You get a nap, or a knap as they call it. What is a napper anyway? What does a napper do actually? Hold on. Boof. Look at that. I can press a button now, it captures the window instead. Let's see. Wikipedia. Knapper. That's... no. Napping. Oh, it's just like... stoneworking of some sort. I see. I see. Well, that's neat, I suppose. Put my thing back on. Get the game. Burp. Burp. Wow. Nifty. If only that window capture button works with every game. But this is very convenient, actually. Let's see. Nap, nap, nap. Get shaped, dummy. So what was happening a lot in Grime was a lot of napping, essentially. We talked a lot about that stuff. I'm really interested in what they'll do with the sequel for that. Because Grime 2 doesn't feature the same black hole guy. It's like a different guy in a different kind of place, I suppose. In the same universe, apparently, but maybe inside of a different guy. Who knows? Yeah, we'll see when it comes out. I got other Metroidvanias before that to play. Like 9 Souls, for example. I gotta play 9 Souls. Truth is, people need my skill with hides and pelts far more than my attempts at napping. Every time I clothe or feed someone and they thank Jazzboss, he has less and less to say about it. Now that Targain's apprenticing with him, I think he's content to let me dabble in tanning. Okay, goodbye. Okay. Not enough time in a day, especially now that I'm working. Can't just stream, and also now that I'm very, very tired from whatever plagues me. But I can't just stream 12 hours anymore. Wish I could. That stupid bacteria has wreaked havoc upon me.
Sorry, I can't.
Okay, let's bring Lantry here, I suppose. Okay. Who do we replace with him, though? We'll bring him later. Okay. Shifts would be more hours, yeah. Don't want that. I'm good with my current thing. Even though it takes me an hour back each way and stuff, it's still fine. I would rather not spend more time there. I should get out of here. About the same, yeah. The worst thing is that the location is actually physically close by, fairly. It's too long to walk, but it is like fairly close physically. But the bus that goes there goes a stupid long roundabout route, and there is no direct one into that place. Okay. So it takes longer than it should. Now it takes me 15 minutes from home to the bus, then from the bus about 10 minutes to the workplace. Yeah, it's just dumb. Maybe I can take my bike in the summer or something. Although, there is lots of down and up hills that I need to take, so maybe not. But the old route stop used to be the last stop. See, my workplace stop is the last stop. So I can just, like, tune out completely until the bus arrives and don't have to care about missing a stop. And, the stop next to my home is, like, the second stop in the bus's route, so it's not gonna be late, ever, essentially. So at least the bus is very easy to get. Although sometimes part way through the city, it gets into a traffic jam and then it takes a bit longer. But otherwise, you know, the route is fine. It's not bad at all. In fact, it gives me time to kind of just, you know, zone out and snooze or something, or just look at my phone for a bit. Okay. The scheduler better, but then the mood, man. We'll talk to this guy later. 10 minutes by bus instead, my god. Used to be that our buses would stop at every bus stop. Okay, no matter if anybody wanted to get on or off. Or if there was anybody waiting at the stop, which was terrible. Thank God they changed that system so that you have to actually press the button. They had the schedule to make sense, I suppose, yeah. But otherwise, they used to just do that every time. So now, they just kinda... I guess the schedules are made to account for skipping stops now. Because, like, maybe 5 stops before my workplace stop, the last one, almost nobody ever gets on or off, and it just kind of goes. It makes you wonder why they're even there. Merchant Pelagia. The merchant, Would you care to browse how it works? Let's see what you got. Ooh, Gore Thrust. Tenderizer. Enraged on kill. Possibly, yeah. Colossus extract recipe. What is that? Infirmary upgrade. Huh. What is Colossus extract? Iron Master Armor. My god. I mean, we can't really give anything to Barrack here. But we'll buy these ingots for fixing stuff. Blood Chanter bracers. Heavy armor. Okay. Iron armor. It is kind of funny, huh? Simplicity. Oh my god, we got all this crap here to sell. Imbued rod of strength. What do I get? Painter staff, right. Get rid of that. Steersman, get rid of that. Archon's bronze sword. I don't remember who Archon even is. Okay, I'll keep that for now. Iron boots, bronze bracelet. Yeah, all this crap is garbage. We gotta get enough materials to like upgrade Barrack's armor and stuff because otherwise we can't really change his gear. Okay. That's all you have really, though. What is that? Two-handed sword, I suppose. Okay, and a one-handed hammer. Okay. Lots of armor penetration. Lots of DPS, but very slow. Bonus damage for every 1% missing a health. Huh. Interesting. Oh, this is even better than that. Although it doesn't have as much armor penetration. Or at all, even. Okay. We'll get stuff. Infirmary recipe available. We don't have an infirmary. Okay, Rostrom Link. Merchant Elegy. Fatebinder. The former nobleman hops on his good leg to face you. Tell me about yourself. I think you're well acquainted with the manor and its grounds at this point. My father's legacy and my inheritance, reduced to rubble and ash. They call it the Shattered Bastion. He runs his finger across his eyes, tracing the dark circles that ring them. Oh, he's the guy that owns the ruins above. Okay. Rostrom House is but a memory now. Prior to Kiros' arrival, we were a successful merchant family with routes that extended from Azur's capital to Arden's coasts. My father never married, but that didn't stop him from asserting control over these lands. Tearsman laws be damned, I'm all that remains of his 3 hairs. Okay. As highly unusual for the father claim land ownership, yeah, I think in this world only women own land. It didn't cleave to tradition. I'm sure that passing women the land and stuffing men aboard ships made sense when our ancestors needed cleaner lines of inheritance. Men drown so women wear the crown, as they say. My father never set foot in water. It goes to show we can overcome any eccentricity if your coffers are full of rings. They speak more persuasively than you or I ever could. No Pandora, wow. You wanna come in? Come on. Meow. Why is Pandora gotta always meow so... She's got a very sad meow when she wants to come in through the door. It's like, meow, meow. But then her normal meow is like not all that sad at all. How was the manor destroyed? I suppose my father's optimism was to blame. Before the Overlord's forces even set foot in the bastard tier, my father invited Tearsmen of all persuasions into these walls to resist Kiros. Didn't matter who you were. Once the tier fell, Karen arrived to make an example of my family. That must have sundered the whole damn mountain along with my home. My family was killed, but the very walls meant to protect them. I was luckiest, merely pinned by the stone column I clutched as the floor heaved from Karen's onslaught. His maimed arm quivers from some unknown exertion. Eventually a single finger extends downward and points at his right leg, heavily scarred and bent at an unnatural angle. My fighting days are over, Fatebinder, even if I hate the Overlord more than ever. But what do you do here? Is this a face worthy of leadership? He snorts, running his hands through unruly hair. No, I lack my father's ambition. I have seen where it leads. Besides, I have little to offer these folks beyond the memory of more optimistic days. He rubs a thick scar running down his arm. My father would be enraged if he saw me today, pacing the mushroom beds or leading swine to slaughter. This life may not be worth much, but it's something at least. Okay, goodbye. Yep. Rah. I hate. Yeah, this is a very classic trope hatred into purpose, isn't it? Yeah. It's a good cutscene.
Can't do that.
I sincerely hope that Dawn of War 4 is going to be good, but I'm not holding my breath, honestly. Merchant Elegy. Okay. Fatebinder. The one before the card greets evenly. She wears her graying hair pulled back high over fouled leathers, her narrow eyes emphasizing the dirty creases above her cheeks. There's not a lot to trade in the wound, and little of that in magical goods. If you need scribbles or mixtures gleaned from our forays into the old walls, I'm the one to ask. Okay. Let's see what you got. Sigil lighting, yo. Wait, she's got 20 of these? Cerulean scales, what is that? Conductive. Okay. Shock damage when hit and ability and some spells. Oh. This could be good for kills actually. Okay. Cause then she can zap things. I already know that one. I know that one. I do not have this one though. Why would I want 10 of these? And a scroll. 10 scrolls. Ooh, that's a lot, actually. Exceptional sigil of precise action. What do you have actually? Regenerating 1 health every 6 seconds. Okay. Actually, you could get shock damage. Yeah, she needs more damage items herself because she can't upgrade her hands that well. Fatebinder? Let's see what you got. Alchemy supplies, cactus. Learn. Precise action 4. Increases accuracy. Oh, it costs so much though. It costs 45 more to cast that thing. But it does make it very accurate. Reaching grasp, range of spells. There you go. Less range, but it will work better. We should actually no, we should go bring Lantry because if we're going into the old walls again, that means there's probably gonna be more sigils to find. And he's the only one who can read those. What you got here? Camping supplies. I'm not a big fan of not having like any one of my current party along with me. I guess I should leave a verse. Insipid moniker. Welcome to our little refuge, Fatebinder. You here to help us keep the wound clear of bane? Insipid moniker picks at a splash of dried blood on her greaves. She wears a patchwork armor of scarlet fury. Are they constantly showing up like that? Welcome to our headache. The way the bane come and go, you'd think the teleporters were beaded curtains. Luckily for us, the beasts seem to love killing bane. They'll put in more hours on security duty than any human, and I welcome the extra sleep. What's through there? That goes deeper into the untamed cold walls. We sent patrols out to sharpen the beast's claws and lighten the numbers of Bane, but we haven't exactly mapped it. How'd you get that name? Funny story that, she frowns. There's a piece of advice they should give every new chorus conscript, but don't. Ha! Verse belts abruptly before clapping a hand over her mouth and swallowing further chuckles. Somebody made the mistake of asking the voices for a nickname, didn't she? She snickers as she shakes her head. I could have been Shits for Days, or Bleeding Sores if I'd waited long enough. Even hindsight would be more appropriate. And she wanted to be called Shits for Days? I guess that's a pretty funny name to have. What do you do here exactly? Whatever Wagstaff wants. Guess you can call me an apprentice. I can read, which is more than most can say. It's more subtle than the red work of the chorus, but I don't need mind to change the pace. So the blues should honor Wagstaff. Exactly. Fuckerized half my gang with his spell, so now I fight for him. Those are the rules. In a twisted way, I think the voices would approve. Not his approval is any safer than his wrath. I'll be going. Like an Argonian name, yeah. A lot of these characters have names like this.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
Like this Kills in Shadow. And other beast people. But the Scarlet Chorus people specifically are given new names based on like something they do, I think. Okay. So those are very much Argonian-ish. Huh. Karen's Passage, Bastard Wounds Farm. Wait, where is this? Okay. Oh, okay, it's down to teleporter. That's what this is. The farm. Hey, Wayward Bard, how you doing? Hold on. Hey. Hope you got a good day coming. The one that shits, yeah. Leaky butts. Do-da-dee-do-da, goo-da-doo-da-day. I should do-do-do-do. Let's see, where's the closest spire? Mountain Spire? 2 days, 21 hours. I don't know if the time... We don't have a time pressure, so I'm not sure I care, honestly. Yeah, it's the same. Encounter in the Bastard Tier. A group of youths about a dozen years of age are at play just outside the ramshackle farming village. 3 of the youths wield crude knives and axes carved from solid planks of wood. They face off against a team of younger children with scraps of brightly dyed cloth tied to the wrists, ankles, and necks. Hands That Heal is apparently an NPC in ESO, huh? I wonder how ESO is these days. Although I don't really feel like playing an MMO that much. They eagerly volunteered, and from what I played of ESO, it's just kind of like watered down Skyrim feeling, so it's like, yeah. They eagerly volunteered that they're playing Bane and Raiders. It's a local variation of the game played by children all across Tyratus, in which the armed children attempt to sneak some small treasure, in this case a shard of well-polished clay, out of an area designated the Old Walls without being caught by the opposing team whose members portray the Bane. Knowing that such games tend to be most popular in areas where Bane have recently prowled, you ask the youth if there have been any recent sightings. They excitedly inform you this last week a farmer heard their howling and saw their glow from the direction of the nearby Old Walls. Pursued the Bane. You pick your way across the dry earth towards the nearest Old Walls. There, beneath the ancient masonry, you find nothing. You turn your back on the Old Walls, wondering if perhaps the Bane had returned to the depths from which they came. When the wind picks up and luminescent motes begin to coalesce around you, the glowing arcane energies adopt the form of vicious claws. Yeah, just wait for Elder Scrolls 3 and multiplayer, yeah. It's just a shame that like the only depiction we have of like most of Tamriel is in ESO at this point. Because it would be nice to have less MMO-y depictions of those places. But then anything that current Bethesda can put out anyway is gonna be disappointing, so... It's a good thing there's a bunch of open world MMOs, not MMOs, RPGs these days. So it's not like Bethesda's the only one we need to care about. Christ, can this camera be any worse? What in the world? Hold on. Everybody get the hell out.
Right.
Fall before me. Fear nothing.
Okay.
Time together has not gone to waste.
Yeah, they're contending with their own better old games. Yeah. And some of them, like their longtime senior people, seem to not like their old games very much, or they seem to think that old games are not actually good as people think they are. So, you know, it's not great, honestly. I think Bethesda could be better. Okay, It has not great age grade, but it's still a perfectly fine game. It just feels old, but no, it's perfectly good. Okay. It's janky in the fun ways and not the ways that are not fun. I want another dungeon crawl. I need to find a dungeon crawler to play. I'm sure I already have something deep in my library that I could play, but I need, like, a good one. Maybe... what was it? God. I know I have one that I wanted to play, actually. Hold on. Let's see. Store tags. Dungeon crawler. God. Okay, there's a lot of them tagged dungeon crawler, but it's like... I could play the classic Bard's Tales games, I suppose. Everything is called a dungeon crawler, from a roguelite to, like, Etrian Odyssey to Lethal Company. That's Legend of Grimrock. That seems pretty fun, actually. I could play Legend of Grimrock, you know. Just a nice old-timey kind of dungeon crawl. It's really funny, though, because Legend of Grimrock came out in what? 2012? Right? As like a callback to games from yesteryear. So about 14 years before this game came out, they still made dungeon crawlers like this one. And now this game itself is 14 years old. Man. What a time. Pretty crazy. And yet, it's funny that, like, modern retro-inspired games that come out these days, they don't call back to, like, 14 years ago of art from our time. They still call back to the same period that Legend of Grimrock was calling back to. Nobody really has nostalgia that much for the Xbox 360 and the PS3 generation. Nobody really tries to replicate that look that much. Christ. Or even like the PC games, which were really rough back. PC was doing rough in that era. And now it's like in a golden age, except that the parts are now expensive. Gaining a bonus of armor. Bond of honor. Huh. You know what? Just get this one. It was a transitional period, yeah. Okay. And it's very nice how the CRPGs got a massive revival.
Can't do that.
Like that was a dead genre, these RPGs. And now they're just like, you got so many of them now. It's wonderful. Can't play all of them anymore. Because there's just too many.
To battle!
Hmm. Pillars of Eternity was just a little bit rough around the edges, but I suppose that's what we get to thank for all of these new games that are coming out now.
Bleed out, you little shit.
I don't think that thing can bleed.
On it.
That one rattled me hard.
I got it. Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I
Okay.
can't.
Space exploration crew, yeah,
Sorry,
that would be
I
really
can't.
nice, huh? A good space exploration
Sorry,
RPG
I
would be
can't.
pretty cool. Okay. I don't suppose what was it? Starfinder's gonna be that way. It doesn't look like it's gonna be that. Okay. Clearly, yeah. But then, you know, these kind of things, they take like a decade to make. So I don't know about that one. Oh, man. K. Make something for me. Nightwalker boots. Okay, not enough material. We need hides. Okay. Commander's plate. Heavy armor. Control life. Okay, we need to get hides. Wasn't he making me like a helmet or something? Good. Magic defense. Or did we already get that? Oh, I think we might have gotten that helmet already.
Can't do that.
Yeah, that would be certainly something.
Can't do that.
Just the juxtaposition of it all, yeah. Yo, I don't think I want... Oh no, we want Lantry. Okay, verse... Hold on. What you got going on? Of rogues, subterfuge, and parrying. And we're gonna have to swap you out for a bit there. Okay, helm. Dauntless. Grave bow. She's got two of... She's decked out in gear, my god. But I'm sorry, you're gonna have to be swapped with Lantry for a moment.
One moment, my friend. Just let me...
Goodbye to you too.
Smarts. Oxygen not included is similar, yeah. In a way. I don't suppose it's got some sort of space thing, but I don't think it's at all like similar to that. Okay, a preservation seal on the ally. If the ally's health falls below a limit, they are healed for a large amount of health and the seal is destroyed. Oh, okay. Okay. Ooh, reviving. Yeah, funny dark sci-fi. Yeah, like the premise is kind of dreary, but like it's cutesy. Okay. Archie. Nope. Archie and Pandora are having a confrontation a bit. Meow. Hold on. Can I activate camera? Oh, oh. What's it pointing at? It's pointing at the ceiling. Hold on. Switch back. Oh, okay. Whoa, whoa. Oh, oh, oh. Eesh. Pandora. Cat. Why is it that every time I play Tyranny, something interesting with the cats is happening, and I keep getting interrupted? Didn't we research something over at this spire as well? Okay. Wouldn't you call RimWorld also something along those lines? Because the art style in RimWorld is pretty cutesy looking for, you know, what goes on in that game. Inconclusive battle for the doorway, yeah. What's the status of your research? Made progress. Nice. Plans Deathbringer. Huh. Research me an artifact. Let's see what this Deathbringer is all about. Deathbringer one-handed. Oh, look, you can choose what kind you want. That's cool. Sight of Years. Damage all enemies in the cone, ignoring their armor. All helpful... Ooh, what the hell are we doing? Obsidian Fragment. Okay. Damage skill with Deathbringer's renown. Cool. We can make a single-handed one. We need to get hides. Anybody here have hides to sell? So we can make... stuff. I don't think I've even seen hides before. Because I could use some alchemist gloves or landry. Okay. Scroll, we already know this one. Yeah. Alright. Let's all go. Shoot the Shattered Bastion, Bastard's Wound. Yeah. Good. Pandora. Pandora. What's that you see over there? She's looking at like some little piece of... What is that? Oh, you ate it. Okay. Look like a bug or something. A dead bug on the ground, and she just like... ate it. Fatebinder, you returned! Sage Landry, how did you... What are you doing here? A long story, my young friend. The synopsis is that I'm working for the Fatebinder now, and just what brings you to this of all places. Lexime, of course. I'd follow her anywhere. Or so I thought. She has descended deep into the old walls, farther than our patrols dare to venture. Apologies he can't be here to greet you. Lexine, she's alive, so she survived the Edict of Fire? Landry's eyes widen with surprise, and you hear the crinkling of vial as his entire body trembles. And give the sages fair warning. Glad to know someone listened. Sage Lexime and I go way back. She joined the school a year before I did, so we more or less ran the spaces together. If she's alive, why didn't she try to find me? Did you try to contact all other sages you thought were alive? Right. We tried to not cloud the skies with missive birds, and we just give the enemy something to follow. Like me, she probably tried to avoid detection, not light the signal fire. Were you two rivals or friends? Both? We were chroniclers, so there was competition of sorts, but I think I'm allowed to say we got along well enough. Not that many of my friendships survived my politics. I was in favor of surrendering the school to Kiros. Hardly a popular outlook. Last I know, she went into the depths of the old walls. To me, that's a death sentence, especially if she's no longer able to work her magic. I'm so sorry. I wish I had stumbled upon us sooner. Maybe you could have reconnected with her. Her mind was dwindling, and I know she was fixated on making sure everything she carried out of the Vellum Citadel was hidden and safe. She and I hid one such catch over by the farm. The others are, I presume, deeper in the old walls. Lexim knew an old sage trick that conceals the stashes, making them fade from view unless another chronicler stands near. When her magic began fading, she made a rush to conceal things, but aside from the one stash in the farm, only she knows where the rest lay. Alright. As she turned to leave, you see Landry lost in thought, rubbing the cerulean ink between his fingers and thumb. Hold on. Actually, let's take that tab break now. It's coming up in a minute anyway, so... Yeah. Sha. I'm back. Let's see. Okay. Let's see, Landry. He's pondering something. What should we expect from you, one of your old friends? She's an old friend of mine, and by now you've already detected an understatement in my voice, so, ask your questions. Glare. The old man returns your stare in silence. What would you like to know? Okay. An old love interest, I presume. Almost. I was fond of her, but I've nothing to show for that fondness. The sort of thing probably best forgotten. Yeah. What do you make of her condition? From the sound of it, she was afflicted with sleeplessness, and by all accounts, madness would naturally follow. But she's down in the old walls and enfeebled, she'd be easy prey for the bane. Whatever struck her, I won't let it happen. She heard of anything like this before? Well, there are all manner of magics that can kill a person slowly. Where'd you begin? I'm more perplexed that she, and by the sound of it, others too were first healed and then grew ill. What do you make of these chronicle fragments she asks us to find? My heart sinks every time I can safeguard the text against destruction. Still, there is something bothering me about these writings. Let's look around a bit more, shall we? Ask me again when I have a few pieces to compare. Okay.
Sorry, I can't.
The Farm Chronicle, huh? Well, yeah, let's go into the pit, I suppose. That's the teleporter, yeah. I guess, yeah. The farm. Nobody else here seems to really... Oh, Merchant and Axios, what do you got? If you're wall smart, shop wall smart. That's what I always say. He clears his throat. And also, this is wall smart. Welcome. I'm working on cries to drive custom. What did you think? I'd start over from scratch. Nah, well, I suppose you're the judge. I really thought I was onto something. I stocked the staple foods and potions you expect from an Azure merchant at a haven value. All in the common comfort of the old walls. What you got? Water healing potions. Yeah, let's get a bunch of those. Imperator's old wall regalia. Light armor nude. Scandalous. Affliction duration increase. Immunity to sundered. He swore the invisible armor he purchased from an adventurous raider of the old walls could protect him from any and all harm. 3 deflection, that's... I mean, that's more than some clothes. And that's better than my clothes. Immune to sundered. You can't fall over, I suppose. Okay.
Sorry, I can't.
Merchant Nereid, Gloomodone. Good day to you, Fatebinder. Let me first tell you that all my licenses are well in order, signed and sealed by this very year. He swipes a layer of perspiration from his brow and chuckles nervously. No reason at all to ransack my cart or confiscate my goods. I trade in whatever I can get my hands on these days. Care to have a look? Let's see. Ooh, hides. Oh boy, they're expensive. Okay, but I mean... what else are we gonna use this money for anyway, right? Gotta spend it eventually. Akon's bronze sword. Okay. I don't need it. Lantry's never gonna use that stuff, so let's sell it. She is not gonna use this honestly, but remarkable sigil of strength. Ooh. God dang. Sigil of strength 5. God. God. Plus 60 requirement though. Huh. We can't really put this on anything, can we? It's simply too powerful. Titan's touch. You know, Lantry needs some better magics. Okay. 75. Duration. Enhancements. Cooldowns. Let's see. Don't need that stuff on this. I would like an area effect buff, honestly. That would be pretty nice. Surge of Glory. There you go. More damage. Very strong. Oh, Pandora, you wanna leave? Go. Or are you hungry again? No? Okay, goodbye. Mow. Okay. What is this? Armor. Huh. Mirror image. Area effect. Electrify. Area effect. Update. Magic. Area effect. There you go. Update. Okay. I don't really cast these myself. Okay, so if I cast this, like, you gotta really bunch up to get caught by this thing, huh? Yeah. Almost the point where it's kind of pointless.
On it.
Jesus Christ, what's going on back here? Oh, look at these little bad beast cub. The rippling wall of muscle and fur sniffs at the air at your approach.
Show some respect, whelp.
Kills in Shadow rears up at the beast. Okay. Unmoved by Kills in Shadow's display of aggression, the beast stares at you expectantly. What's the problem?
This beast does not lower haunches in our presence. Kills in Shadow should teach it proper etiquette.
Apologies, did not intend offense, but I will apologize for nothing. A wicked scowl shines across Kill in Shadow's face, but she says nothing. Show that beast who's boss.
Some sense into this young one.
Kills in Shadows locks her fists together, tucking her talons and should deliver a blunt wallop to Beast's head. Enough! The beast quickly relents, holding out its paws in contrition as it bowed before Kills in Shadow. Am second to your strength, will not challenge. Glaring at the beast with a low growl, Kills in Shadow begins to lurch forward, but thinks better of it. With a quiet sigh, she shakes her head.
Will do.
Alright, well, let's go down into the pits. Telesophia. Journal. Good. Tempest, the alphas has dropped again. Thankfully, I'm streaming, so mine have increased. It is now 18 degrees in here. All looks appealing about these rubbery dunk-scented mushrooms, yet the settlers wouldn't care for them as if they were the finest fruit. Oh, piggy.
Eyes.
Let's see, let's get some healing potions going for us. Land tree. It gets like 7 of these. Put the rest in here. Give some to this guy. Give some to this lady. Give these to me. Okay. Dire remedy. Good. Lunette. Claytos. Hello. Seeing you approaching, he straightens up to seem like a little taller. I'm going to grab your slippers, do it. I need to get like fuzzy slippers or something. Wasn't expecting to see a fate binder down here. Name's Claytos, protector of the farm, because all I wear is Crocs these days. Indoors. Which are pretty comfy, but you know, fuzzy slippers would be nice. He announces like a title. You may have heard of me. I assure you we have not. Landry skims through a few pages of notes. Not at all. So, you need me for something? Despite his armor, you can tell that he flexes his muscles. Okay. Tell me about yourself, Claytos, protector of the farm. Sundra born and raised. Didn't have much growing up, and the sea life wasn't for me, so I took up the blade. Been a warrior ever since. Ran with the House of Broken Regions before we ended up here. What's that? Surprised you haven't heard of us. We're the best bloody mercenary company out of the free cities, and don't let those motherless free blade marauders tell you different. Or the marauders. We're the only crew to have bested those stalwart bastards. Not that they'd ever admit it. A sour expression briefly mars his features. It's a matter of Sundra pride. The city fought a bloody war for independence, and the terms of the treaty gave Sundra its independence from stalwarts in return for the public declaration that stalwarts did not lose. So much as neither side won. And that's why I and other children of Sundra smirk a little as the name Unbroken. How do you protect the farm? It ain't obvious. I'm a fighter. A bloody good one, too. It's almost a shame to have me up here on the farm, so far from the Howling Bane. Want me to ask Echo to assign you? His eyes widen. That would be kinda, yeah, but that would leave the farm underguarded. Maybe if it gets too bad down there, sure. But the beastmen seem to have it handled. Claw for claw. Gulp. Yep. Leave Bane to rip rending fangs and claws of Mentaborn and West Reavers. Let the human of Broken House tribe wallow in own fear spoor. Taco has me looking after the mushrooms. She keep a close eye on everything around here. Bit too close if you ask me. And she's quick to remind me when I cock something up. Used the wrong water on the mushrooms once, and she up and decked me. Obviously I would have blocked it. He chops the air with an open palm, or dodged it. He jukes illustratively to the left. If I'd thought anything like that was coming. He clears his throat. Anyway, had a black eye for weeks. Not doing that again. No how, no way. He watches me go. Watch me go. Tycho and Lunette. Ooh. Iron Sabatons. We don't care about those. Scroll. Supplies. Hey, Tycho. Fate Binder. She vows deeply. Welcome to the Wounds Farm, the only source of food within the old walls. Bet you never imagined anything like this down here, did ya? You look like you got questions in need of answers. You run this farm? That I do. Have since shortly after we arrived here. I may have been a mercenary up top, but down here I've developed into quite the farmhand. She chuckles. I turn the soil, haul up fertilizer, even sing to the plants. I've near grown to love this farm like it's my own child, except unlike a child, the farm needs me. This farm feeds the whole community? Near enough. Gwyneth gathers some stuff from outside on occasion, but most people get their food from here. We got a whole host of vegetables, and the mushrooms down here turned out to be tastier than anything grown in shit has any right to be. Got pigs, too, for the occasional feast day. I keep everything orderly and efficient. One slip up, and we're talking months on tight rations at best. These crops can be real particular about the kind of water they like. Give them too much, too little, the wrong kind, and next thing you know, they're limp and brown. Is it normal for plants to be so picky about their water? Well, every plant is different, but the water situation down here is real touchy. Jaspos's filters work for the topside plants, since it's more or less what they're used to. Those stone jugs of his get rid of whatever makes people sick while keeping the nutrients my veggies need. And give that water to the mushrooms, though, and they stop glowing. Then they shrivel up. No good for anything. No idea why. I figure the topside nutrients kill them. Wagstaff's water is about as pure as it gets, though, and the mushrooms take it just fine. Okay. Interesting. Ocean's Fury. Okay. Lunette. Howdy, Fatebinder. To be honest, I did not expect a courtly type like you to show up in this piss hole. Would have thought you'd have better things to do than check up on a few wilting greens growing in the beast shit. What can I do for you? What do you do here? Well, you shall patrol out in the ruins, keeping the entry free of any unwanted visitors with Hillstrider and her crew. About a year ago, though, my damn fool husband didn't pull out in time, and the wound found itself another mouth to feed. Course, the worthless bastard went and got himself torn to pieces fighting Bane, so I'm up here tending crops and letting my sword arm go to waste so the kid doesn't grow up an orphan. Don't get me wrong, he's a good kid for a babe. I'm just damn glad he's out of me. Blacko's got me on vegetable duty, which suits me just fine. Don't know if it's just some post-pregnancy bullshit or something, but those creepy glowing mushrooms make me want to lose my lunch and dinner. She glances towards Tycho. She's been hovering more than usual as of late. Like she thinks I'm slacking off. How'd you end up in the wound? I came in, 2 years back? With the Freeblade Marauders. Been in the wound ever since. Who or what is a Freeblade Marauder? Nothing but the finest of the many fine mercenary groups out of the free cities. There's the Freeblades, the House of Broken Regents, a few others. Aren't the Bronze Brotherhood out of the free cities? The Brotherhood? Those fucking fucks can go fuck themselves. Especially the Ratterman, whatever his fucking name is. What a huge cock. And crazy as a beast woman raised on bad shit. One of these days he'll lose his head to one of his own people. You mark my fucking words. Goodbye. Okay.
Sorry, I can't.
Yes, you can. Flickering dust torchlight. Even
Sorry,
more people live down
can't.
below, huh? Goddamn. Ocean's Fury, what you got? Smooth blue fur frames this massive beast woman's flat face. Her blunt snout wrinkling as she sniffs at you. Her skin in those spots where you can see it glistens, almost pearlescent. Her upper lip curls back to expose dagger-sharp teeth. Human smells of flame mystic power, of singed fursuit and foam smoke. She snorts, yet looks small and frail like hairless whelp. The beast woman at your side rises to her full height, chest thrust forward, and snarls at Ocean's Fury. Manta-born beast woman knows not human who smells of Fatebinder. Alpha to kills in shadow, can be forgiven for foolishness, once. Fur-blissing, Ocean's Fury glowers at kills in shadow. Shadow Hunter calls human alpha? Then perhaps human strength smells true. Or Shadow Hunter gone weak from time away from tribe. For what does human disturb Ocean's Fury's prowling vigil? How many tribes call the wound home? One and more than one. Like human tribes have grown stronger in difference. What does that mean? One tribe called Wunkin hunts prey in Bastard's wound. All beast women answered to Wunkin's name. All did look to Reef Talon as prima, before Reef Talon left into Old Walls. What tribes did it belong to before they all became Wundkin? Ocean's Fury and Reef Talon and Mantaborn, first among tribes. She draws herself up proudly and thumps a closed paw against her chest. Mantaborn hunt sea as swift as sharks, range long coasts from stalwart to seed, rule ocean where humans bring no war. West rivers have fur like rust, range northern lands, high as steer. Not many days from moon towards sunset where humans fear tread, yep. She seems to consider the tribe. West rivers best hunters in grasslands, good hunters in mountains. She chuffs slightly, poor hunters in sea salt. Stone talkers small, but roam in large packs. Strong mystics know the stones of Song of Earthblood. Good hunters in mountains, not as good as any other place. A few others talk with Wundkin, chases clouds and gloom of dawn Katvana. Only few left. Was that about the differences? Each tribe knows its hunting grounds best. Manta-born best swimmers. Small stone stalkers climb quickest. Shadow hunters blend in with night and stalk with cunning. Simple. What do you mean by your prowling vigil? Ocean's fury prowls Wound Farm. Hunts Bane with claws and fangs. Drives away trespassers with growls and knuckles. She points out to the vast gulf to the north. Old walls split down center like lightning forked stump. Banes slip across gulf. Ocean's fury watches always. Okay, goodbye. Always watching.
Can't do that.
Always seeing what's going on.
Can't do that.
Yes, you can. You gotta believe in yourself, guy. Okay, Piggies.
Can't do that.
There's something in the farms? In the Bathroom farm area. Okay. Search with Lantry present to find it. Okay. I don't really see anything here though. Unless it's that. But I think we picked everything up from there though. Huh. Gotta look around, gotta find the things. Oh, maybe it's
Sorry,
hold on,
I
what's
can't.
that? A shiny sparkly thing. And the pick pen. Okay. Aha! The old concealed text in a pile of pig shit trick. Classic. As Landry approaches the corner of the pen, a pile of hay and animal dropping vanishes, replaced by a stash of scrolls. Now there's a subject close to my heart. Histories of the School of Ink and Quill. Who doesn't love a little autochronicle? Roll calls, minute graduation announcements, publication dates, and letters. Oh my. I doubt sages Koran and Ostrich had any idea their correspondences would be immortalized for the records. Not the most exciting bit of history, but I can see why Mel and Lexine would want the words of colleagues close at hand. Lantry thumbs through the tome, chuckling with a nostalgic smile at each turn of the page. Anything worthwhile or just a bunch of sage bladder? Okay. Well, if that's your exclusive disjunction, sage bladder. I know it's also worthless in hindsight, but it's a record of our school, whatever that's worth. I can obsess about these later. We've other things to do, right? Lantry closes the text and looks up at you with a smile. Okay. So you knew Kiros was coming. How many years in the making is this cool tradition of stashing decks throughout the tiers? It's a sort of an insult to suggest something was safer outside the Citadel and within it until, the first fall of Vendrian's Well back in 429. And at that point, I'm certain all of us started preemptively looting the Citadel, hauling our books to safety. We all lied to each other about it, of course. Okay. Take a closer look. How can I say no to that order? With a smug grin, the old sage dives into the texts. Several minutes pass as Lantry pours over the pages. Strange, all these names of dead people. Good riddance to some, others our loss. Kiros' loss. Anyone you know? In a way, all of them. The school was never crowded enough to disappear into anonymity, but as a field scholar of sorts, I was as distant as it gets. He shakes his head with a heavy sigh, lifting a quill from near his shoulder as he does. He puts the quill to his hand and scribbles several circles of sepia. Anything seem incorrect? A relaxed smile sets across his face as Lantry exhales, wiping his sepia-stained hand across his cheek. Oh, this is odd. Find something? Well, there's a passage here that isn't quite correct. See for yourself. The text describes a debate between sages discussing the riddle of rings. And one sage with the familiar name of Lantry is arguing that the riddle of rings posits that Kiros has already conquered the tiers. Let's see. The riddle of rings. You've been suspicious of countless hours banter for the arts of magi and... Which smells first is the riddle of the rings. Good. Uh-huh. Hmm. Bronze first, iron last. Huh. Wait. Copper must and hot in the bronze. Huh. For if the sages speak the language of Kiros, slandery reasoned, and use the currency of Kiros, then military conquest is an extraneous formality. Huh. Good. Oh, they learned the riddle of rings differently. Bronze first, iron last. Oh, so you know the original. No disrespect to the foreground, it's a great teaching tool. I just borrowed the term for rhetorical effect that day. It was 425 and Sage Cavell was giving a lecture series, having recently returned from his expedition to observe the Forgebound and their ways. At one point he discussed their teaching methods, so the riddle of rings came up as a part of his lecture. At the time I joked that the real riddle of rings isn't aren't we already conquered? Aren't we already conquered? And I launched into a not entirely sober diatribe about Kiros' inevitable invasion and dominion. According to this, I gave a stirring speech met with applause. Hardly. I was hit in the head with an old scroll case and told to sit down, shut up, and let the scrollers talk. Okay. You could correct the record. I could, and I will. I'll make a note to return to this, until I know why this was edited as such. I just assume not tamper further. Okay. I think nostalgia has been overtaxed for the time being. Let's get moving. I need to think on this a bit. Landry closes the tome, stashing the old book in one of his satchels. Okay. Control life +1. Huh. Okay. Find the remaining chronicles.
On it.
Okay. They could be anywhere, huh? Huh.
Sorry, I can't.
How do we go down? We must ask one of these guys for permission, I suppose, up top. Where's my... I could have sworn I had rested, but apparently I've still got wounds or something.
Right.
Okay. Let's see if we can ask somebody for permission to go deeper. Okay. Argayan, what you got? A man clad in the frayed remains of his Earthshaker uniform focused intently upon dark stones held in cupped hands. His eyes move from one piece to the next. He hears your footsteps and shifts his gaze to meet yours. Fatebinder, forgive me, I didn't see you. Jaspos has been performing these exercises to attune my senses, to see the shapes hidden within the rock. Flustered, he quickly tugs on the hem of his shirt and straightens his belt. I may not be the Savored anymore, but I still recognize the Fatebinder's authority. Is there something you need from me? How does an Earthshaker end up in the company of this motley? I'm the odd man out, I know. He motions to his purple-gray garments. After Cairn had been declared a criminal, Craven Ash charged us with scouring the Archon's belongings and retracing his path. I was with the group headed through the Gates of Judgment as we cut west across these mountains. We came upon this place. Of course, any association with Cairn didn't make me popular with the Legion. Tila Sophia was all too eager to remind me that if Cairn's treachery were ever to come to light, all Earthshakers would likely be executed for assumed collusion. So you'll forgive me if, after stumbling upon Bastard's wound and facing insurmountable odds in battle, I decided to surrender rather than join my hateful companions in death. How do you think of Bastard wound? I find myself at home here, even if everything about the old wall seems antithetical to life. If the Bane don't kill you, the water will. Without Jaspos, this place couldn't exist. His eyes move from the churning water to the massive stone walls stretching towards the sky. The old walls have always been invigorating spaces for mages of my ilk. They're like untapped fonts of magical energy, and the ancient masonry? Inspiring. What was life like to the people that shaped these massive walls? He shrugs, amused. You speak well of Jaspas. Jaspas is many things. Teacher, husband, companion. Archaean's gaze turns thoughtful. He's teaching me to connect with stone in a deeply personal way. Earthshakers manipulate rock, but we don't feel or shape them with the intimacy of the forge bound. Okay, goodbye. You stay with your rocks. Fatebinder, you returned. Was there something else you needed? You need assistance? We don't have the luxury of trading with the topside. It could attract the wrong kinds of attention. Instead, we craft what we need. In my case, I can make a wide variety of tools, but I can't make everything. When we were building the forges of Lithian's Crossing, I had access to some of the finest chisels, tappers, and abrasives. Or tapers. I carried only my travel kit with me when I found myself here in the wound. I've been able to craft a few replacements, but to my chagrin, I haven't captured the craftsmanship. The napping tools needed are rather specialized, and I sleep knowing I can't replace anything I break. Since I've been missing, I imagine my tools are appropriated by my colleagues in Lethian's Crossing. Lohara will no doubt know of their whereabouts. With my old tools, I could really stay on top of the work that's needed to keep this place running. I will speak with Lohara. I'm sure this will be a simple matter for you, Fatebinder. Thank you for your assistance. How do you deal with the Bane? In case you have noticed, the beastmen with us aren't your common feral savages. Something about this place focuses them. Whether they come as our workers or on their own, they all eventually become fixated on the Bane. I've seen some hunched over, guarding our portals for hours. If any Bane come through, they'd savage them instantly. But apart from the Bane, our beastmen aren't violent. Strange, but welcome. I have no explanation. We never asked the beastmen to act as our sentries. They took it on naturally and have never complained. We do lose some gingery, but so far their defense has worked. What do you know about Reef Talon? He holds a bowl of crushed rock aloft, squinting to examine its contents as he speaks. So you've heard. It's unfortunate what happened to her. Reef Talon arrived a year after I did. Massive creature, one of the largest beasts I've ever seen. She never spoke of her past much, but we knew she was in flight when she stumbled upon the wound with her cubs. She pulls a fragment out of the bowl, running it slowly between his fingers. Whatever she fled from, it didn't stop her from devouring the Bane. She was good at it, good enough to lead the beastmen. But Reef Talon had something else far more important. She could heal others with a mere touch. Didn't matter if you had been raked by the Bane or fell down on your own sword. She could close up your wounds and send you on your way like nothing ever happened. How did she do this? I didn't think she knew herself. She wasn't a student of her craft, not even using beastmen mystics as a standard. What I do here, that's not an accident. It's years of controlled study and meticulous perfection. Reef Talon simply acted on instinct, and that didn't work to anyone's benefit. With a dissatisfied shake of the head, he flicks an unwanted chip into the water. Sometimes we're better off without such miracles. Those Reef Talon healed slowly became sick. It was impossible for them to sleep even when exhausted, and the relentless waking drove them mad. The affliction takes a while to fully take hold, but the end result is always the same. Even worse, those bestowed with magic slowly lose their gifts. He looks towards the forge, a pained expression visible on his face. Now they're just known as sleepless, all their life and vitality robbed and spent. A terrible end, Fatebinder. Reef Talon couldn't face her mistakes, and she fled into the old walls like a coward. He circles around the platform, speaking as much to passerby as with you. And to think that many here saw her as a leader. What leader runs in the face of adversity? Those of us that remain, we are the ones that continue to hold up Bastard's wound. I toil every day to keep the fires of my forge running, and the people can see who they can truly rely upon. Nearby onlookers shout and pump their fists in support. Yeah, woo! There's no onlookers, though. Eliciting a raised fist from the forge-bound master in return. Tell me about Wagstaff. You should know that Wagstaff and I aren't the best terms. He's old and set in his ways. I've tried, believe me. I've reached out and invited him to share my fire and talk like men, but he's the sort that prefers his own company and ideas. He doesn't seem to care about people the way I do. In fact, I think he views it as irritants one must endure. He sighs loudly, shaking his head with an exasperated smile. He does help the wound, I'll grant him that, cleansing water with his magic. His methods are different than mine, of course, far slower. He thinks his contributions are more valuable since they can't combat disease. A valuable tool, for certain, but without the volume of water produced from my stone sieves, this settlement would die in a span. In the end, he just refuses to accept that his role has changed. He helped the wound get its bearings years ago, but being the first does not make him one qualified to lead even. He hates that people have responded to me and has been blinded by that. What do you do? Oh, and I shall tell you. He places a hand upon his belt and runs his finger across many hammers, chisel, and pick straight across his waist, stopping at a simple stone hammer. Masters of knapping focus on the fundamentals of all forge work. Before you can make bronze and iron, you need a hot fire and a controlled space. You need a stone forge. So you just make forges? Is that it? You didn't make tools? He grips his belt firmly, puffing out his chest slightly as he speaks. Give me a few days and I can make a pile of rocks and fashion proper stone hammers and tools. Give me a few weeks, and I can use those tools to build a worthy forge, and with that forge I can create anything you'd ever need. Stonework is the purest form of our craft. Civilization would be reduced to ashes, and the master knapping would be the one to reforge it. What do you do here? I don't look the part, I know. Most of my guild huddled by the heat of their forges and stick to themselves. Here I think of my forge more as a hearth. Everyone is invited to share in its warmth. In a practiced motion, he unfastens the rag looped around his belt and wipes off trace amounts of sweat from his already spotless brow. Perhaps that's better? Obviously, I work the forge. In a place like this, that means everything. Those bridges you see? My handiwork. The knives and weapons everyone carrying? They came from my forge. The nails holding our containers together and keeping our shuttles upright? Mine again. But most importantly, I created those stone sieves to clean the water. He pats one of the open stone receptacles, pride evident in his voice. First of its kind, and none too soon. When I came here, many were sick with the withering rot. The disease is in the water. It's a terrible way to go, but the sieves change things. How do they work? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. He pauses for dramatic effect. Except for members of the court. It's really a matter of using the right combination of enchanted stones, pulverized charcoal, and a few precious stones in precise arrangement. These materials act as the sieve in these containers. He points towards the base of one of them, drawing your attention to water dripping out of a small opening into a collecting bowl. Anything that comes out of there is free of the disease. Now, this place isn't exactly bursting with precious stones, so I had to devise a substitute. Beastmen claws and teeth, when properly prepared, have the properties I need. Since they regrow over time, I've been able to collect donations from our many warriors. I do prefer using stone whenever possible, though. Okay, goodbye. Okay. Huh.
Can't do that. Sorry, I can't.
Okay, the ones that got away. Let's talk to the other guy then. There's another portal here too. But it's not active. Maybe we need to do some quests for these fellas, and then they will give us some what's it now? Access. Wag staff. What you wagging, your staff? Paid binder? Goodbye. You have nothing to tell me right now. Let's go and get those tools. Okay. Total. Knapping on the job. Ha 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 ha. Okay. The punch, the hurts. That's the pain. The big pain. Where is Lethian's Crossing, actually? Got Iron Hall Trail. Haven. Waterbound supply cache. I thought it was here somewhere. Huh? Wait, no, it was next to the Sunset Spire, I think? Yeah. Okay. What a strange route. Apparently that isn't the route you can take. You gotta go all the way around to teleport. Okay. I wonder if there's anything in there that's in the spire still that we can actually do. More some practice. Show me what you got. You got any hides or something? Lesser residual strength. We know this already. Bronze spear. Nah. Who do we need to talk to again? The forge bound. There should be like a forge here. Siren Sanctuary, Eldian's house, the forge. There you go. Biotas. Show me what you got. Iron javelin, water, gorget, parrying. Huh. Let's see. Master casting Lahara, master tempering. That's the one. Good. You have returned! Lahara turns to face you, her body covered head to toe in charred hues, chest rising and falling under the strain of labored breathing. There's always more demand for iron than there is time of the day. She removes a set of heavy canvas gloves and balls her fists, the joints of her fingers crackling in unison. How may I be of assistance? I'm looking for some napping tools on behalf of Jaspas. Jaspas? None of us have heard of him in some time. He certainly did his part to create the forge here, but there is little else for a napper to do after setting the foundation. I'm quite certain he has orders to return home. She grabs an iron ingot and holds it aloft. This, on the other hand, is the vanguard of my work. My tour of duty ends only when there are no more enemies for my iron to kill. So where did Jaspas end up? He's dead. Yaz is asking me for passing him bound by our duty and our channel things. Nursing a leg injury revealed shadows the gates of judgment. He's in a remote settlement in the mountains more than the north. Claims to be one of its founders. Nursing a leg injury. Let's not tell where these people are. I like those folks. She shakes her head, chuckling to herself. How? A fall? A wolf attack? Doesn't matter, really. No doubt it happened while he was distracted by his own reflections somewhere. That man always was the clearest worker in the forge. And I don't mean that as a compliment. Oh, cleanest even. He also wouldn't be the first to have hardship delay his journey home. I wish him a speedy recovery. Still, it's good to know that he's alive. What did you know about him? Only the superficial, sadly. He worked in stone. I'm more keen on metal, so we rarely compared notes. I knew he was arrogant, confident beyond his years and talent. Not to say he was inept, far from it, but a few years of flaking chart does not make one's Kiros his gift to the forge bound. Does Jaspas any of his associates still around? Once this place was built, most of the nappers were sent home. I know his supervisor was Cassandra, master of napping. She was sent home as well. She was a bit on in years, not quite fit for the long walk back, so I think she's currently enjoying a boat ride home. Did the stone nappers leave behind any of their tools? If so, where might I find them? I have no idea what inventory the stonesmiths kept with them. All of our stone workers left some time ago. A few of them meant to return north by ocean travel, which meant first traveling to the north southern coastline. I'd imagine they're probably gone by now, but if you need those tools, I can't imagine they had room on the galley to call their sledgehammers. If I were you, I'd ask around for Cassandra, or, since she's likely on a boat home right now, see if some local was drafted to attend to her or haul her stuff. Maybe they inherited some of her excess belongings she couldn't take on the boat. Aside from that, I suppose in the abstract I could have someone cast a few chisels and hammers, but if you are looking for tools made by and for the stones experts, I think South Haven's your best bet short of slogging it back to Force Resolution. Okay. I will go. You know what I should play again? Road Warden. I should probably start over though, because I never finished it and I don't remember much. But it could be nice. Reading it though out loud is a bit of a rough ask. Because that game is so much text. It's all text. Maybe voicing the characters could go. I think I've considered this before. Okay. I wonder. Yeah, I could always just voice the important bits, yeah. Or just read it out loud, just normally, like I would read the books and stuff. Yes, that game is really interesting. And the settings sounds pretty fascinating too, so... I could try again for sure. That could almost stand in as a book, honestly. Endgame. Essentially, it's a text adventure anyway. Oh, the Fatebinder. Hello, welcome to South Haven. Capteron. A middle-aged man nods to you, clutching a small apple crate in one arm. A well-worn scrap of parchment pokes out of his balled fist. Charcoal tally marks visible on its exposed surface. Well bet, traveler. Sorry I was counting these out for her mod and didn't see you coming. Welcome to South Haven. You look just like the portraits. I mean, it's a flattering likeness, though you look more regal in person. I mean, Governor Marstache, it is an honor to meet the Fatebinder of your stature. As he awkwardly bows, several apples fall out of the crate and bounce out of his hands, rolling past your feet. Sorry. He sets the container down. Is there something I can do for you? What do you do here? Me? Oh, I'm not anyone important, Fatebinder. I never took to a particular trade, and I'm not a man of letters. I just help out where I can. He gestures towards the crates behind him. I count the produce for her mod. He lets me take a few fruits when I'm done. His words are interrupted by a rhythmic clanging of hammers against metal. He turns to look at its source atop a nearby roof, exposing a gap-toothed grin as he speaks. And of course, the forest-bound always need fresh water, so I'll pump it for them from time to time. I'm sure Cassandra appreciates that. What do you know about Cassandra? She's incredible. She's no spring chick, but she can split a boulder better than any man in the village. You can tell her apprentices respect her just by the way they look at her. Everyone in the village feels the same way. If she speaks up, we take notice. She's intimidating, though. I wanted to give her a suggestion about some stone arrowheads she fashioned, but she looked really angry when I approached her. She was yelling at one of the students and another was on fire or something, so my timing was poor. There's lots I'd love to learn from her, but I'm too old to be taken seriously as a candidate. How do you end up being staffed by these guys? Oh, their arrival was the biggest change we have experienced in a long time. It's been maybe 2 years. This guarded entourage came to town and we all thought we were being invaded, but nope. Just a bunch of craftsmen booking passage out of the port out south of here. When they arrived, they were all ill with fever and needed rest. Since old Leonis knocked off, we let the forge-bound use her house. We all assumed it would be temporary, but either the ship they meant to board sank or they had to change of plans. A span later, the forge-bound were still here and making themselves at home. It didn't hurt that the villagers here were fascinated by their crafting magics. The youngsters in the village all lined up for lessons, and Kiras be praised, they saw fit to tutor some of them. They've been awful helpful. Spears and arrowheads for our hunters, plows for the fields, fishhooks for the rivers, even a hearth or two for those cold nights. They also help keep us safe and stand watch over the town. If I were younger, I'd ask them to train me. Cassandra's almost always at work, just on the roof of the building behind me. She's a busy woman, but I'm sure she has time for you, Fatebinder. Tell me about it. I'm not sure what's really all that's worthy a note. He scratches his chin, inadvertently smudging it with charcoal. We got the river and the sea nearby and live by what they bring us on the good seasons. Trade for what we don't have when our luck dries up. If you're bored already, good. I think Kiras' forces were bored too and seemed to ignore us. Some recruiters from the chorus came in years past and rounded up some folks who were out in the fields. I think they took Ptoled's boy, and also the Corba twins, but that was the worst of it. I've heard plenty of stories from elsewhere in the tiers. 3 folks gone, while a tragedy is nothing compared to the suffering seen elsewhere. We are fortunate, no denying that. Goodbye.
Can't do that.
Cassandra is still here then. Okay. There she is. Okay.
Sorry, I can't.
This place is a bit of a dump. Hmm.
Can't do that.
Hmm. Erasmus. He has seen. Okay. You see a tall figure with a patchwork sash of animal pelts slung across her shoulder. The skin on her sunburned face melds with a pair of naturally flushed, freckled cheeks. She speaks energetically to two nearby villagers, animated in her depiction of a recent hunt. I had you crawl real low through the bush. Those critters have eyes like eagles, but are too deaf to hear their own farts. I got close enough to see its nose wriggling in the air. I can actually feel you coming that way, you know. But it was too late. One swift thrust later, it turned out into dinner. She hears you approaching and spins around, spear held out playfully. Aha! Who goes there? Her laugh is hearty, but ends up abruptly as she takes note of your appearance. Apologies, Fatebinder. I had no idea you were visiting us. Forgive the jest. I've been burdened with an overabundance of energy since childhood. One way or another, it comes out. She offers a purposefully awkward curtsy. What can I do for you? Can you tell me about... What do you think about Cassandra? Huh. She's a tough nut to crack. She's been pounding steel for so long that she's forgotten how to hang up the hammer and join other pursuits. I first got to know her after we got talking about hunting implements, and I think she saw something in my enthusiasm for it all, and we've suddenly become pals. She's much different in person after she unwinds. Not that she's anything wrong with having a tough exterior. She's a master of napping after all. You've got to maintain appearances. With a toothy grin, he has seen offers a friendly wink as you approach. Fine day, Fatebinder. Anything you need? Cassandra's gravelight tools seem unique. Any chance she'd part with them? Doubt it. All she ever goes on about is chisels, moils, flaked tempers. Who knew there was so much to know about wedges with handles? If you need tools, ask her. I bet she'll make them for you just to show off what you can do. But her tools? Seriously, those are probably the only things in this world she genuinely loves. Can you tell me about the Forge Bound? Fine folk, as far as I'm concerned. Everyone around here is better off with them. Cassandra and her students keep me supplied with fresh spear tips and arrowheads, so my life's never been easier. They spend most of their time in training, though. I think that's the real reason they're here, to pass on secrets from master to pupil in a safe place. Cassandra's a hard ass. In more ways than one, but her students are better off for it. They certainly make short work of any of our requests. Nails, hooks, blades, whatever you can think of. Only old Lycos didn't take too kindly to your presence, and that's because he's a half-rate smith whose blades are as limp as he's in the as he's in the sack. Anyway, I like him. I'm not too wild about the curfew they've demanded, but Cassandra insists that it's for her safety. I haven't seen any Brotherhood or bandits while out on my hunts, so it's not like we're less safe because of it. Okay. Alright. Hey, Erasmus, what are you? A young man squints at the balls in front of him. He picks them up, shakes them up, and down, and sets them down. Unsatisfied after every examination. Was it fennel pollen or rhubarb root? Okay. He catches sight of you and stops his search. Hello, traveler. Something I can do for you? Okay. What are you looking for? My wife took fever recently, burning temples and an awful rash. She's a tough one, but I wanted to get her some medicine. I know that boiled silverthorn works well, but that's a few rings too many for me. There must be an alternative. Elder bark is what you want. Almost as potent as silverthorn, but a lot more plentiful. You can probably buy it for a song. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. I'm quite worried about my wife, and these herbs will really help. Is there anything I can help you with? It's the least I can do. Goodbye. Okay, I don't really care to ask more about Cassandra, I think. We know all we need to know. Okay, just random dudes with dialogue standing around. Nicodemus. Heavy cloth bracers, huh? Kinda sucks. We got an ad break in 4 minutes.
Can't do that.
Can't do that. Okay, what is that? Rhinox's Grace. Creator Captain Renox turned Pirate Central and attempt to strike back at the monopolistic practices of the merchant house of Bastard City. I suppose it got much use for these shoes, though. Finesse will inflicting crits, wits will inflicted miss. Huh. I don't suppose once you wear these, they're probably really slow for me. Well, let's just take that break, I suppose, and come back in a bit so we don't have to wait around. Let's go. Shit. Wow. We're back. Okay, what do we have here? Why does it say 3? 3 new items since last visit. I see. Okay, let's see. Ocean Spire, Sunset Spire. We got everything here. Nicodemus, talk to me. A barrel-chested man surveys the area with a certain expression, eyeing you nonchalantly as you approach. A large horseshoe mustache traces the top of his mouth before reaching down to his chin. When he speaks, the bristles nearly mask his lips. Well met, Fatebinder. What do you need? Who are you? Nicodemus, Cassandra II. I have a few seasons under my belt, unlike those pups in the forge. He gives a sideways glance back towards the work area. I watch over things when Cassandra has better things to do, which is always. What do you need? What can you tell me about your leader? Tough, but fair. Cassandra knows that teaching and napping are both acts of reduction. In the case of teaching, one chips away at ignorance. Some don't like her approach. Such rules are not fit for our guild. What do you need? Why are the forge bound here? Ask Cassandra. She gives the orders here. No point in me guessing as her meaning. Okay, goodbye. Cassandra. What you got in here? Nothing. Well, that's you. A small group of forest-bound stand in conference around an older gray-haired woman. Well, that's not what's happening, is it? Blue tattooed streaks trail down her hairline, coming to rest upon a pair of eyebrows permanently fixed in a severe expression. She grasps a hunk of jasper and strikes it several times with a sharp piece of obsidian. The motion should feel rhythmic as you work the stone, as mundane as breath. Her sinewy biceps contract to control the force from each impact, keeping the jasper remarkably still. Listen to your senses. If the shape in your mind doesn't feel inevitable, then you're wasting your strength and my time. Noticing your approach, she halts her demonstration and waves off her apprentices. We'll continue this later. Okay. Fatebinder, I am Cassandra, master of napping. The forge-bound present are in my charge. She grants you a perfunctory nod. I know your time is limited, and South Haven too remote for this meeting to be chance. What is it I can do for you? Okay. How'd you end up here in South Haven? As master of napping, it is my duty to build the forges to keep the others occupied. Bronze and iron, the guild's trademark, but stone's the foundation. When Kyros's conquest began, my kin followed the armies into the tiers, and I led the efforts to build the Valetian's crossing. With our task at the crossing complete, there was naught to do after but return home. I barely made the long march south, so I decided to head towards the closest port, just near here, and planned to catch a boat back home. But the journey here was difficult. Butthurt bandits ambushed us on the road. Her eyes narrow at the memory, and she rubs the left side of her abdomen. They fancied our forge implements and thought them fair payment for use of the road. I refused, and we brained them with our hammers. She cracks her neck with a quick tilt of her head. I cracked a rib or 3, and some others in the party were wounded, so resting in South Haven seemed wise. The locals were overly accommodating, and I started wondering if I'd ever even live through the sea voyage home. So I decided to set up shop and teach here. Our temporary stay became rather permanent. Fatebinder, is there something else you need? You know a man named Capteron? Capteron? Oh, for fuck's sake. She rolls her eyes in a sudden loss of composure. A lovesick cub if I've ever seen one. He's helpful with hauling and odd jobs, but enough with his endless spinning. Or pining. Not that he's ever experienced love, as best as I can tell. He's well past fathering age, but probably couldn't find a vagina in the brothel. He mostly keeps his affections to himself, thankfully. He's harmless and always compliant if you yell loudly enough. Do you fancy spineless men? Have at him. You have hair? I thought all force-bound shaved their heads. She permits a smirk for the briefest of moments. I've shaved my head for nearly every day of my life. I think I've earned a reprieve. She lightly smacks the back of an apprentice's head as she kneels to work. These idiots don't get that luxury. We have these traditions for a reason. If you waited into a forge fire all day, you'd know better than to grow a mop of wicks out of your head. I thought Jaspos was master of napping. Jaspos? I thought officers of the court would be better informed. Fatebinder, there can be only one master of napping at a time. I'm not a corpse yet, despite the wishes of my apprentices, so the title remains with me. Huh. So what rank does Jaspos hold? Why are you even talking about Jaspos? The only title he's fit to wear is Master of Arrogance. He was a dutiful enough student, but I've heard the boasts he's made to my apprentices in private. He learned quickly, I'll give him that, but he is a long way off from attaining any kind of mastery. It takes at least a decade of consistently impressive work before the guild would allow for the title of Master to be bandied about. If I drop dead tomorrow, there are a dozen others more qualified to inherit my title. She lets out a long sigh, her eyes narrowing as her upper lip twitches. What gave you this notion that Jaspos is the master of napping? Jaspos has claimed that title for himself. Motherfucker! She takes a hammer and smashes it against a nearby wall, sending fragments of it flying. The gall of that man! I'd cave his head in as an example, were he here. She strikes the wall again for good measure. I have chisels older than him. He's far, far too young for such a rank. He, of course, has potential. I wouldn't construct anyone who doesn't, but he seeks approval in people rather than his own craft. Hardly a master's mindset. The guild will act on this. Making a false claim like that is a serious offense to our ways. As soon as I can, I'll pen a missive to my superiors. His arrogance will be disciplined. I'm here for his tools. Jasper's tools? What sort of nonsense is this? A good question. I'm starting to suspect I've been duped, and I'm guessing the only tools here are yours. To commemorate my 50 years with the guild, Zdenia made me a tool set of the most exquisite craftsmanship. No doubt that's what Jaspers has in mind. After we left Lethian's crossing, I noticed the set was incomplete. Several key hammers and chisels, one of my best sloops, all missing. At the time, I assumed the fault lay with me. The witch of South Haven wasn't without its troubles, and I assumed I misplaced things during the shuffle. I would never have guessed that Jaspers would steal them from me. From his own master. If my knees were still good for sprinting, I'd chase down that ungrateful rake and pulverize his skeleton one bone at a time. Her rage seems to vanish with a shrug and a smile. And I suppose making tools is what I do best. Not like I can't replace what was lost, but those tools were a gift, and not even I can fashion sentimentality out of rock. Not sure how exactly I can help you with the situation, Fatebinder. What's make these tools so special? Zdenia fashioned them as part of a series of works inspired by some pre-war study into the tidecasters and their ways. She took it upon herself to spend a year working only with the crystals and metals the casters use in their designs. My tools are some of the best pieces that came from that year of experimentation. I try not to make a big deal about having tools inspired by Tearsman magic, but they are the finest I've ever used. I guess the idea is that some of the Moonlight's energy remains trapped in the business end of the tools. All I know is that with them in hand, I can work faster and with more precision and strength. In truth, I can do just fine with lesser tools, as much as I adore the sets Zdenia made for me. Nobody can make a handle to fit my hand quite like I do. She picks up a small hammer and twirls it in her hand. But if Jaspers thinks he can claim the rest of my tools and pretend to greatness, that ungrateful wretch is dead to me. If my needs... Okay. Yeah. I need these tools. These tools are rightfully yours. What a bastard. Thank you, Fatebinder. She visibly relaxes as do several of her apprentices who quickly return to their duties. I'm glad we could clear up this misunderstanding, and I'm sorry that one of my own deceived you. As his instructor, I should have spotted the flaw in his scruples. The shame is mine that was not cleft from our ranks sooner. Okay. We're gonna kill that guy. I must go. We're gonna kick his ass. For being a lying bastard to us. He's lucky we're not condemning his entire village. Good. Get his ass. Clouds hang low over the tiers, disgorging a deluge of rain. Thunder shaking your bones as lightning arcs across the sky. You press on with your journey with the awareness that the weather like this often complicates travel. This time, however, responsibility for the complication lies entirely with humans. The road crosses at a river ahead, and someone, likely of the Tierra's many warring factions, has sabotaged the crossing. The center of the bridge is entirely missing. Good. Huh. Peering at the churning water, your disfavored companion rubs the back of his head. I'd suggest that I walk along the bottom, were it not for the damnable need to breathe. Apologies, Fatebinder. My presence here may hinder your options. Repair the bridge. At the foot of the bridge, you find a set of discarded tools and planks. They don't seem to belong to the saboteurs. Perhaps the locals had set out to repair the bridge before the storm came. Deciding you don't have time to wait out the weather, you take up a plank, hammer, and nails and get to work. It doesn't take too long for you to make a workable crossing. It won't hold up a card, but it's enough to let you continue your journey. Okay. Cool. Go.
Can't do that.
Just boss, you bastard, gonna kick your ass. Just boss, you bastard, gonna rip your face off. I'm gonna kick your face off with my leg. Okay. I wonder if I can make a better mat. What's this? Directed forge. A wave of flame. Okay, that's very good stuff, isn't it? Lots of power. Okay. We can't really make anything like that. You bastard. Ah, Fatebinder, you returned. I decided not to take back your tools. The smile vanishes and is quickly replaced with a mask of carefully suppressed rage. Fatebinder, that news is beyond displeasing to me. I thought the tools made for a modest request. I don't see a way for us to forge on ahead. Okay. He slams the sledgehammer into a nearby rock, pulverizing it beyond any use. If you'll excuse me, Fatebinder, the settlers have needs I must attend to. Okay. What a guy. Okay. Arrogant bastard. Maybe this guy will give us some stuff to do. Or maybe we can go over here and stuff, and it'll open up. Oh. What's this? Fatebinder. The former nobleman hops on his good leg to face you. If you have a moment, I'd like to discuss a potential problem in the wound. What is it? Seeing as you're already helping our leaders with their petty disputes, I say disputes, I mean their concerns for the wound, he clears his throat. There's little to do to stave off boredom when you're trapped in the crack of the world. Tensions run high. Unless you blow off steam by betting or beating your neighbors, you need alternatives. He hesitates, cringing as he continues. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that many of our own will wager the rings for fun. You're gambling? Yes, not that I want you chance of Fatebinder's ire for my troubles. He flinches a little. One wager has grown into kind of a tradition for us, betting on which of our beastmen might fall to the Bane while on patrol. Our wound can send hunting parties into the old walls to lure the Bane away from this element. They're good, but death wins every wager in the end. Scrab Mel manages the bets and tells everyone the odds, but I think he's cheating. The results haven't made much sense lately, and people are starting to grumble. Does Mel know the odds? No, not Mel. Have you seen our disfavored guest, Sophia? She's the one strung up like a decoration in the middle of the settlement. He begins a hearty chuckle but grimaces in pain from the exertion. Not exactly tolerant for beastmen, that one, but she knows how to size them up. Mel got the idea to use her insight, so she more or less sets the odds. You have to get the details from her, though. How do you know he's cheating? Too much good fortune is how. We place our safest bets on the strongest beastmen, and of late they've been falling more often than the weak. Only Mel stands to profit from that. The odds Mel sets look right enough, but maybe the sage is being crafted in a way I can't understand. Something just doesn't feel right. Is everyone else complaining? Some of us have talked about it, yes. I suppose you can say I'm one of the devoted. His cheeks flush a mottled crimson, but Rostron banishes his shame away with a shrug. And why not? There aren't many thrills to be had for me. Otherwise, I'm putting the remnants of the Rostron fortune to use. I mentioned my suspicions to both Jaspas and Wagstaff, but they're too fixated on one another to pay this any mind, so I have no one else to grumble to other than myself. I'll talk to him about this. My thanks, Fatebinder. I just want to bring this to your attention. Maybe this is all nothing, but my gut says otherwise. Okay, gambling, huh? What about you, insipid moniker? I'll leave you to it. Wagstaff. Okay. Fatebinder? What do you do here? What should I know about Jaspas? If only that rock pounder would just shut up. He loves the sound of his own voice. He grips the roping on his waist, squeezing it with a clenched fist. Unfortunately, his forge is on the upper level, so his soliloquies... What the hell? Soliloquies flow down here to ensure my misery. This place has better acoustics than the Academy of Tibes. Lucky me. He thinks because he can cleanse the water, not as well as I do, mind you, that he can pontificate at all hours of the day. I nearly drowned myself once rather than listen to one of his tirades, you know. But I knew the moment my body was discovered, he'd be raining another righteous speech about cowardice upon my corpse. That wouldn't do. Look, I'll say it plain. Jaspas has a big mouth, and he talks incessantly about transforming Bastard's wounds into something great. But the truth is that he's just out for himself. He slams his staff into the ground, mouth quivering as he speaks. I built this place from nothing, and he thinks he can come in and claim it when the hard work has already been done? Not on my watch. What do you do here? I'm the only true leader, as I've said before, but the one to belabor the point. He clears his throat. 3 years ago I stumbled across these old walls and very quickly found I wasn't alone. A clutch of hungry and sick tearsmen had stumbled upon this enclave as well. I had come here to escape Kyros's forces, but I'm nothing if not driven by noblesse oblige. I decided to weigh anchor for a bit and help out. His staff dips into the pool at his feet, sending ripples across its surface. Water was both the problem and the solution. These refugees were surrounded by it, but I couldn't drink it without picking up whatever old walls-induced disease lived within it. Withering rot, we call it. Let him continue. I chew a tidecaster, these are trivial matters. So long as I'm here making a solution to purify the water is a simple matter. I make life here possible. It's a difficult burden, but I'm honored my talents are put to good use. What do you do when you grow old and die, though? You look pretty old already. How do you purify your water? Tell me about the tidecasters. We are the students of Occulted Shade, Ark on the Tides. She was one of the founding pioneers of Tears, and her school has been the longest-running institution of learning in the peninsula. Don't listen to what the sages say. Why didn't you leave with the others? I was one of the few to stay, and why not? This is my home. I don't care about Kyros's war or the slaughter sport of these Archons, but I also wasn't about to sail west to die of starvation in the high seas. The promised lands are a lie. The ocean goes onward, or maybe you fall off the edge, or wrap around to the east coast of Terratus and land right in Kyros's lap. If I'm to die, let it happen on my mother's coast and my mother's land. What have you been doing since the school's departure? I spent the first few span dealing with some unfinished business. A half-dozen sages had wronged some friends of mine, and I'll admit, vengeance occupied me for a time. When Kyros's forces came, I decided to stay far from the beaten path. I set out to the mountains to find privacy. This place was serendipity writ large. When others stumbled upon this place, it somehow shifted from hovel to home. I did not expect to ask for the responsibility of caring for these people, but now that they wear it, the mantle is comforting. Maybe there is a land. Who knows? We'll never know about the other lands, if there are any, because there's no sequel. What did you do in the school before the war? Provost of Antiquities was the official title. My life's work was the curation of the school's past, the relics, the sermons of occulted jade, the life stories of tidecasters' elders past, that sort of work. A fellow historian. I didn't realize the tidecasters gave a care to the historical record. I wonder how your notes would compare to the chronicles of the sages. I'm sure I could fill in countless gaps in your accounting. The typecaster glares at Lantry with contempt. Ah, yes, the historical record knows that Lantry takes a hint. Coughing nervously, the sage takes several steps back and falls silent. My personal interest has always been the fluid magic of our school. Most of the school embraces the mighty power of Gravelight. I almost can't blame them. For me, water, mist, ice, and fog have always been more immediate. More real, more worthy of understanding. Why didn't you stay and fight? If I may be so bold as to answer your question, why do you think it was? Not many folks seem to know the truth, so I'm curious what one of Kirith's soldiers believes happened. Okay. They knew before that he was coming. They knew something we don't. Perhaps the cartographer was wrong. Maybe there's a land to the west. I assume they didn't want to die and felt their chances were better on the open seas given the school's skill set. Only a handful of the typecasters stage of fighting and some cowardice was school virtue. Maybe there's land to the west. They didn't want to die. You aren't that far from the truth. At least for many of the tidecasters, the high seas are truly home. For many, the danger of the seas was lesser worry than war with Kiros. The truth is, our Archon lacked the will to resist. Scores of tidecasters craved war, but lost heart at the notion of facing the enemy without occulted shade leading to charge. Enough. I don't wish to revel in the cowardice of the tidecasters. I made my decision to stay. I'm not pretending I'm some brave hero, but at least I'm trying to hold on to some little port in the storm. Okay. How do you purify the water? It's impossible to convey the intricacies, but suffice it to say that I am most infused water with the Gravelight energy. You should make some food? Yeah, you should. It's about my stream time when it's not weekends. Channel your inner Archie, okay. Look at it. Baby. I need to have a button that hides the pet cam, because now it's only just like pulls up for 15 seconds. Let's see, it's possible to this combined with the trace amounts of alcohol and beastman food, beastman blood counteracts the mortifying effects of the old wall's water. I see that look in your eye. Worry not, the beastmen willingly give these vital foods when they can. Fluffy spheres. Sleeping is good, apparently. Okay, she's an apprentice. Okay. So he's got that covered, the need for somebody to keep it going. Okay. How's it hanging? Alright, let's talk to Mel about that business. Okay. Fatebinder, you've returned. It seems Jaspos is rather furious with you at the moment. Not sure exactly what you did to arrange it, but be advised. Is there anything I can help you with? Okay. Do you need help? I do have concerns for the future of the wound, but I do what I do by virtue of not stamping on any toes, and I'm not about to start by angering either of the old men. You probably noticed that both Jaspos and Wagstaff offer much to our settlement, and you've likely noticed while they both want the bastard's wound to prosper, they're long past working together toward that prosperity. There's another way the wound could succeed, if you're interested. What do you have in mind? Okay. Nobody likes to admit it, but this place ran best when Reef Talon was in charge. I know you're probably thinking this place needs a leader, not a prima, but Jaspos and Wagstaff are going to get most of her or all of us killed eventually. If Reef Talon is alive, she needs to be convinced to come home. Okay, how would one bring her back? You'd have to find her and convince her to come back, or take advantage of her nature. Her kind uses strength as a form of debate. From what I know of her, she left out of self-loathing over the Sleepless, so the trick is convincing her there's hope. I share Lexim's conviction that Reef Talon didn't intend to make anyone sleepless. Lexim hypothesized it was an unintended side effect of an experienced, untrained mystic, meaning such things could be corrected with training. I know Lexine was writing about this subject right before she stopped being able to write. If you can't find her corpse down there, I can't imagine the bait ate her notes. Okay. Reef Talon may be too stubborn to ever come back, but many of us miss her. We'd forgive her if she'd forgive us. Okay. I'll try to find her. To access the depth of the old walls, you'll need the keystone that insipid moniker carries. You know what she's up to, right? I imagine you should be able to leverage her cooperation with that information. Okay. Might I suggest searching the abyss? None in our hunting parties have caught sight of Lexime, so I suspect she is descending far into the old wall's depths. You suddenly recall something and hastily rifles through one of his pouches. Here, take this. It's called the Warden's Key. Okay. It's one of the last ones, forged in a rare moment of collaboration between Jaspos and Wagstaff. They say it may be used to interact with oddities in the old walls from a distance, like those beacons we often see. Best to make your journey as quickly as possible. Jaspos and Wagstaff have already sent some of their hunting parties into the depths. They're best men, I'd say. Hard looks amongst them all. Can't be for any good purpose. My bet is that you're looking for a reef talent, not for a cordial conversation. Okay. Okay, let's go and try that out, I suppose. What's this? What are you doing? Nothing else to talk about? What about the gambling? Okay, I suppose we can't, not right now. Okay,
Sorry,
well.
I can't.
Now we gotta talk to Insipid Moniker. I need access to the old walls teleporter. I was told you have keystones that opens it. Yeah, I got it. Narog's been entrusted to me for safekeeping. Why should I let someone outsider take it off my hands? I don't have time for this. I have important business in the old walls on behalf of your settlement. Right, of course. Don't let this be on delay any further. Her smirk vanishes as she unwraps the keystone and pushes it forcefully into your hands. Don't take my kneeling too seriously, Fatebinder. Not many skulls to crack down here, so I've got to get my excitement where I can. Watch out for the sleepless while you're down there. Do us all a favor and put a few out of their misery. She sneers and backs away. Okay. Okay, the eastern teleporter. Okay. What about the western teleporter? Okay. Okay. Don't need you to learn lore. Let's go. Brung. The abyss. Okay. Oh, she's right there. We've come a long way to find you. Shouting at the beast lurking in the alcove above, the man beckons to her with a wicked smile. Why don't you save us all the trouble and come down here? His companions shift nervously, hands upon the hilt of their weapons. Okay. Reef Talon, the massive beast woman rises from her haunches, revealing an intricate array of painted symbols that race busily across the entire body. Can smell desire for blood in human's breath. Can see intent in deceitful eyes. Scamper run free now, before Reef Talon separates fresh flesh from bone. We only want what's best for the wound. Jaspos has a plan to help everyone, but he needs your, help. Come, let us talk this over like civilized folk. There's no need. Okay. Leave now while hunters have legs. See sleepless in old walls? Husk ones step and stumble. Hearts beating without purpose. Go now, avoid some same dreamless fate. Return to... She cuts herself off, sniffing the air intently. She drops down on all fours, eyes snapping in your direction. Okay. Hello. Fatebinder. Reef Talon can wait. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay, they're just attacking us. God dang. What in the world is happening? Okay. Get his ass. Okay, okay. Hmm. Hmm. I'm going to give Landry some spells for sure. Hmm. In fact, he does have some spells. Go fast. Hmm. Heal. Where am I? Over there, okay. Nice. Oh, there's a dude here. Apprentice. Zap everybody. Hmm.
Attention, kids. You might
Oh
learn
boy.
something.
You might learn something. Okay. Hmm. Oh boy. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. One per rest, one per encounter. One per encounter stampede. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Alright. Get, let's see, more fire going on.
Will do.
Christ. Heal me. And you. Hmm.
Will do.
Stop dodging distraction.
Petrify.
Rending claws.
Oh, there's still a guy there. Hold on. Hmm. Get the hell out of here, dude. Die. Hmm. Hmm. Man, that petrify is really useful now.
Hunters fought well. Bows did not loosen until final.
The saber javelin. Huh. Get that crap for selling. Hmm. The beast woman races towards the edge of the platform, eyes fixated on the bleeding bodies at your feet. She digs her front claws into the stone, but instead of twisting her body to descend the wall, she rakes against the surface in frustration. No, no, will not perform mending rats again. Hunter's lifeblood must flow. Quick, quick, away from Reef Talon's touch. She snaps her head towards you, a low rumble emanating from the back of her throat. They called human Fatebinder. Well, what does Fatebinder want? You're needed back at Bastard's Wound. I've come to find you. Reef Talon already tried to help Wound, but now skulks in depths like wretched creature. She shakes her head vigorously from side to side. Beast Woman does not deserve life, has abandoned cubs and wounds, and now only mutters sleepless. Reef Talon's new brood clings to life but knows not why. Dreamless, visionless, purposeless, like Beast Woman now. She growls and leaks backwards, continuing to eye you with suspicion. Fatebinder smells of outside, can only bring danger. She slashes the stone floor, sending chunks of the masonry tumbling down towards you. Go back to Wound, so choose safe lands above. Leave Reef Talon to the pit, leave with courage and sleepless. She paws along the floor and turns her back to you, pounding off into the darkness. God dang it. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Defense. Second breath. Hmm. Hmm. Improves lore skill. Get that. More lore for your magics. Okay. I like how he knows a healing spell, but he doesn't actually, like, know how to change it. Okay. This go fast spell, maybe we can make it area of effect or something. Okay. Duration. Make it longer, there you go. Electrify. Can make it a little longer. Lazu Chachki. Okay. Huh.
Return and face us, beast! Coward! We must pursue Windbinder. Let us seek more of those blasted glowing rocks.
Okay. How do we do that? Now we can do this remotely, can't we? Okay. I guess we can. As you consider the distance between you and the old walls mechanism, you feel a slight warmth emanating from the warden's key. Right, we can do that. Goddamn. Hell yeah. Sleepless. Oh, there's a different key, huh? Okay. And more portals to use.
Send me your champion!
Oddly enough, the Bane aren't attacking the Sleepless. Huh.
I got it.
As you command.
This can't be
Pay
happening.
attention, kids. You might learn.
Who's shouting exactly?
Something.
Level up. Okay. Well, we gotta get our strength up for sure. Dealing best of slash pierce damage. Huh. Okay, bleeding. Huh. Reduce duration. Armor penetration. Hell yeah. Get that. And then we'll give her a strength level up next time. Oh, dang. Good stuff. Expensive stuff, but I don't suppose there's anything we care about. More dodge, less endurance. Nah. I'm good for selling. Good. Where the hell are we? Entirely different area, huh? Study the rune. Sigil of bounding bolts. Okay. Oh, it's like a bounce? Chain sigil. Jump targets. Yo, it's so expensive though. God dang. We're way too dumb to actually use this. Huh.
To battle! Can't do it. Pay attention.
Consider it done.
On your knees, worm!
Lantern, where are you going, you fool?
You learn something every day.
Oh, nice. Level up. Okay. Okay. Electrify him.
Take care of it.
Okay.
Right.
Lantry, heal me. Shoot that guy.
As you command.
Taunt. Nope. Dude, taunt.
That's done.
Drink. That guy's just like sleeping. Even though he's sleepless.
This is embarrassing.
This is embarrassing.
It's a hit!
One strike.
Oh crap! The fate binder isn't moving.
Okay, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. More health. Accuracy, armor, deflection. Attack and ability, strength. Well, like, all abilities or just spells? Spell strength. Okay, not all of them, yeah. Quickness. Get that. Get this. Okay, Bronze dagger. I've lost it. Gone, gone, forever lost. A glassy-eyed man sways on his feet, his countenance sickly pale and ashen half-circles clinging to the underside of his eyes. He stares forward, gaze unfocused, seemingly unaware of your presence. It must be in the water. I should keep swimming, swimming, always upstream. As you step closer, he turns to face you and squints his eyes. You there, have you seen it? Okay. What are you looking for? His brow furrows as he confronted your question. I knew just a moment ago. I left something important, I did. I'm so tired. How long have I been... He trails off, unable to complete his thought. The Bane are everywhere. How do you survive down here? Okay. Bane... His irises wander to the corner of his eyes, as if doing so would reveal creatures hidden inside him. Beside him, even. No, they don't pay us any mind. Not anymore. Lullaby tells them no. Lullaby protects. Who is Lullaby? She watches from the deep, deep dark. Her song is sweet and makes all the evil people go to sleep. Lullaby protects. You don't seem well. He blinks at you without comprehension. I'm awake, aren't I? This isn't a dream? He reaches out and grasps your shoulder loosely, then firmly. My thoughts come and go, and I sometimes can't tell if I'm still live. He pats himself on the cheek several times, each with increasing intensity. I'm here, I'm still here. I want the afflicted, the sleepless, I think is what they call us. It was Reeftown. Her touch healed me, stopped the blood from spilling out. He runs his hand along a vicious-looking scar bisecting his chest. She took something in exchange. I'm alive enough to know I'm hollow. He stops and scrutinizes his hands. Hollow. As he raises his head, his eyes show no signs of recognition. Have you seen it? I've lost something. Okay, I'll be going now. We need to look around for sparkly thingies. Maybe we'll see something. Jump.
Found something.
The mural before it depicts two beastmen-like figures rising from the floor, larger than life in stature and presence. They both carry upon their backs massive rectangular tower-like structures. Between the columns are what look like corridors of the old walls, twisting and turning at right angles. Strewn throughout the corridors are dashes of colors, blues, whites, and purples, twisting in spirals reminiscent of the Bane. Okay. Maybe the builders of the old walls were beastmen. Though crafted with primitive pigments, the mural is festooned with small details. Further examination will likely glean additional information. Examine the beastmen. The two figures depicted on either side of the structure are drawn in remarkable detail. Their proportions and anatomy seem nearly identical to beastmen. The two have expressive faces. The right-hand beast is anxious and worried. The left-hand beast appears salivating for a fight. Both forms appear to be bracing against the structure, and taken as a pair, their posture suggests they are holding up, supporting the structure between them. Humans say old kingdoms build old walls, but are wrong. Beastmen build old walls. Proof right here. More fool superstition. As if the beastmen carry the world. A weight so burdensome that they cry, until their tears fall from their face in sheets and become the rain. He sighs. What savage idiocy. Examine the old walls, section under detail. Sandstone-colored borders define the edges of the structure supported by the beastmen. The cross-section reminds you of vertical maps drawn of the old walls. A confusing series of connected corridors and passageways rises from the floor to ceiling, all of it saturated with cloudy streaks of blue, red, and purple. You can't help but notice the swirling colors of the shapes in the cross-section are also painted throughout the two beastmen, suggesting Bane or the tattoos of such creatures running down their limbs. Okay. The color choice and claws mean only one thing. Bane, but I'm suggesting you found that conclusion already. The mural is complicated and layered, but has likely received as comprehensive an explanation as possible at the moment. Whomever painted this mural seems to suggest that the beastmen support the old walls, or maybe contain the Bane. What do you think it's trying to say? Okay. I think certain spiders are, if you look at it as the beast, certain spiders power the Bane coursing through the old walls. Beastmen were meant to fight the Bane. The sages have long noted that beastmen are almost suicidally brave against the Bane, yet run from humans smaller than them. That sort of courage is a little peculiar, wouldn't you say? Satisfied with your investigation, you step away from the mural and leave its nuance for the next traveler to ponder. As you turn away from the mural, Kills in Shadow sniffs at the ancient stone and paint a few more times before turning to following your lead. Interesting. Maybe they're genetically modified. Jump. Crafted by ancient civilizations to fight evils. And yeah, we gotta find tiny little sparkles littered about, and maybe that will give us the quest we gotta do. I'm not gonna kill these sleepless just yet. I think. Because, we might be able to cure them, you know? We gotta get a different colored key. Come out, Bane.
Can't do that.
Not responding to torch keys from these old walls. Huh. Second piece of old walls that we can't get into. How bizarre. Okay. Huh. Okay. Maybe that guy has the key though that we need. He said he lost something that he had.
Sorry, I can't.
Huh. Okay. And you know what? Let's kill that guy. Put him out of his misery. I just don't see anything else to do. It's probably completely lost anyway at this point. No matter how much sleep he gets. Okay. Oh wait, there's a thing here to press.
Sorry, I can't.
Okay. Now, who doesn't have that kind of skill check at this point? It's like a fairly pointless check to do, honestly. Cause like, bad can be good indeed. Hi Rick, how you doing? Thank you for the 10 bits. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Get this guy killed. Let me end your search. He's got... nothing. Okay, dang it. Just relaxing. I'm doing okay, just tired. But otherwise doing pretty okay. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Okay, surely we can swim this. It's not that bad. Where did we get that thingy anyway? What is that? Lazo torch key. Ambir Karen. Who can give us more stuff though? More keys to torch. Unless this activated means something can be done elsewhere. This doesn't respond. God dang it, what the hell? We can't continue as we are. Okay. Maybe somebody else has more torch keys? Or maybe if we press this button it will do something else now that we activate the thing below? Okay. No. Ugh. Confusing. A Tycho. Welcome back, Fatebinder. You look like you got questions. Something the matter? She sighs and leans forward, rolling her voice. You being a Fatebinder, I thought you might be able to get through the heart of a little trouble we're having up here. The crops aren't doing too swift. Veggies or mushrooms. And at the rate they're withering, well, if the farm dies, the wound starves. I'm listening. Strange enough, this ain't the first time something like this has occurred. A while back when the greener farmhands got it in his hollow head that any water is good water and that was paying no mind to which he wanted with what. An honest mistake would cause us no end of grief. Luckily it hadn't been happening long, and the plans bounced back a few weeks after I got things all rectified. Her voice quiets. Ain't the same this time. I've kept both eyes on the water being used, and I haven't seen a solitary mistake made. Each crop gives the right amount of the right kind of water at the right time. Ain't just that. The plants are going bad faster than last time, too. If I had to guess, someone's sneaking the plants the wrong water when I'm not around. Okay. I'll see what I can work out. Then we're investigating plant murders now. Truly, this is as Kiros wills. Many thanks, Fatebinder. That's awfully kind of you. You know, Barak doesn't understand the importance of feeding the armies. Water tampering. You had problems with the crop? Smart odds is that as had Klato's fault. That pile of pork chops can't tell his head from a hole in the ground. If anyone's fucking up the water, it's probably him. Klato doesn't water the plants. He's on mushroom patrol, and I don't remember saying anything about the water. Fuck me, you're smarter than you look. We can't all look as brilliant as we are. She lowers her voice. Look, the survival of the wound's my top priority. The wound and my son. Since I can't be out there, blade in hand, I want you to be good and fucking certain the wound's being led by someone who can keep everyone safe. That's Wagstaff. He's got experience, he's got the sorcery. I told him as much, and he asked for my help bringing everyone else around. He thought if the crop started to fail, people would blame it on that northern shit-stained chess boss and turn to Wagstaff to fix things. Okay. Did you realize that sabotaging the food supply doesn't just hurt you and the wound, but your kid too, right? Why do that? Because it's the only way, she hisses. People have to realize that Wagstaff is the better leader. If we rely on Jaspos, every fucking person here will die. And my son is just fine, thanks. You really fucking think I'd do this if I thought it would hurt them? People will go to Wagstaff for help any day now, and everything at the farm will go right back to normal. How'd you keep Tycho from discovering the water was a different color? Wagstaff's no idiot. He gave me something that makes the ensorcelled water look like that filthy force-bound water. Without knowing that'll help you, though. No one will believe Wagstaff sabotaging the crop without proof. Fatebinder or no. I can't let you keep doing this. How exactly are you going to stop me? You don't know what I'm using or where to find it. You have no proof, and if you try dispensing a little Fatebinder capital punishment without proof, I think you'll find the whole wound against you. Knock yourself out. Well, I can kill y'all, you know.
Sorry, I can't.
Wheel of Ages. Okay, what is that? Okay, I found currently I have no way. Gambler's Ruin. Thinks it was guessing Mel, Someone in the bastard ruins must have been okay,
Will do.
Have you seen anything unusual? Ocean's Fury prowls farm on hunt for Bane. Bane come from old walls, not farms. Still, Beastwoman does see things that pass. Sees small broodmother and soul human sneak the farm when humans call Tycho looks elsewhere. Okay. What is that? A small broodmother? Small broodmother waters green prey food. She lurks near tumble down stones at entrance light. Hides a thing where no one sees. A slow human, big and heavy, smells of hot metal. Hide the thing under rocks in dark corner near squishy glow fungus, he whelps. Humans think no one watches, but Ocean's Fury sees without watching. Beastwoman hunts Bane. though not humans. What does Beast Woman care what humans do with stones? Okay. Interesting. Dehydrated moss. Okay. Oh, we got an ad starting and like right now, so let's take that break and we'll continue, okay? See you in a bit. Yeah. Wow. We come back. Let's see what we got here as well. This color dash. Huh. Anyone else around here? What's that? Okay. Okay. Clytos. Okay. Have you seen something, Clytos? They always come back. You had the problem with the crop? Oh, what now? You've unfettered access to the water and the crop. Ample opportunity to perform the crime, and I have harmed the crop in the past. I'm feeling pretty convinced you're guilty. When you put it that way, I suppose I do look a likely suspect. These cows... Bollocks, I should have thought of that first. Look, Fatebinder. He lowers his usually booming voice. This thing between the Tidecaster and the Forest Bound, it's tearing the wound apart. More than just the crack down the middle of it, I mean. It's getting to where neighbors cross the... well, not the road exactly, but what passes for a road down here just to avoid talking to you. Master Jaspos is the man who knows how to be in charge. He designed the water filters, crafted us an armory, and raised bridges throughout the old walls. He's got a smithy and the whole host of Forest Bound behind him. When this whole thing finally goes tits up, anyone not backing Jaspos will be a flipping nutter. So I figure the best way to keep things from getting too bloody is to sway people to Jaspos' side and quickly and early. I asked him what I can do for him, and he has me wet the mushrooms with his stuff instead of Wagstaff's magic water. Well, he sees it. If everyone thinks Wagstaff cocked up the one thing he's good for, then bam, Jaspos wins by default. So they both have the water. My god. Okay. This stops now. Stopped already, actually. Used the last of that Master Jaspos gave me just this morning. Can hardly hurt the mushrooms without that, can I? Okay. Tycho said the different waters are different shades. He should have given you away. Now you see, that's where Master Jaspos' brilliance shines. He gave me something to mix into the water to make it look different. Don't see how knowing that'll do you much good, though, seeing as there's none left, and without that there's no brewing anything. Okay. So this bag of forged dust you hid isn't what Jaspos provided? The color drains from his face. Didn't mean anything by it, Fatebinder. I just wanted to help Jaspos keep the wound safe. Better than safe. Great, even. I figured once enough people turned their backs on Wagstaff, he'd ask me to stop and everything to shake out fine. Okay. Grab him by the crotch and squeeze hard. What the hell? These mushrooms don't start getting better immediately. I start removing pieces of you, beginning with the ones you're fondest of. He whimpers, squirming at the end of your grip. Of course, Fatebinder. Anything you ask, Fatebinder. Praise Kyros, tune on and blade and mark. You let him loose and he swaggers away, cropping himself in pain. God dang. Okay. Tycho, welcome back. I have information. That's some sort of needed news, Fatebinder. Well, spit it out. What'd you dig up? Okay. They're both responsible for the failing crops. Surely, kid, there's no way they're both wrapped up in this. Right. That's Chris Coach. That's going.
Yeah, you can do it.
Let's see. Jaspos created this color dash and changed the color of the water for the mushroom. Wait, Clytos was using this color dash obtained from Jaspos to change the color of water from the mushrooms. Prithvi, hi. You said you said that yesterday, Prithvi. Hello. Okay. Your exam got delayed, and next exam is zoology. Oh no. You like animals? Cause that's not too bad, surely. All sorts of creatures. How are you at zoology then? Hope you can do it. Okay. Clytos, after all his mistakes, you'd think I'd have kept closer eye on the musclehead. Jaspos, though, dealing with him will take a tender touch. Can't just punish him like I can most anyone else. For now, he'll have to wait. Clytos, though, I'll deal with that boil with a swiftness. But you're saying Wagstaff also had his hand in this? Lunette was using dehydrated moss obtained from Wagstaff to change the color of the waters for the tares crops. Lunette? You'd think her little boy'd have done more meaning to her than whatever Wagstaff offered to do his dirty work. No matter, she won't see this farm again. The Tidecaster will be a tougher nut to crack. I'll have to think long and hard on what to do about him. Animals are easy, yeah. Well, not necessarily easy, but they're interesting. Much more easier to understand than plants are, at least. She frowns as she surveys the farm. It'll be a task convincing the others that Jasper and Wagstaff aren't the leaders we've reckoned them to be. For now, it's enough that the farm no longer a pawn in whatever they're playing at. She smiles at you. In cleaning this up, you'll help the farm and saved a lot of folk from starvation. Sterile Celette. Thanks, Saintbinder. You've held the wound more than I suspect, you know. I'd like to give you this as thanks. A trophy from my rough and tumble years. Clean as helm in the battlefield. Ooh, heavy armor bronze. Well, I can't really use this, though. Hygienic. Huh. Okay. Alright.
Can't do that.
Can't do that. Okay. Alright, well, I would like to get some more stuff though. Like those keystones. Okay, him. Talented waterfall. What sort of talent do you have today? 101. Number 101. Mark of quality. You did it. You gone and done it. Sleeping? Hell yeah. I gotta talk to this fella. You've returned. I know about the gambling run you're running. I see nothing escapes your notice, Fatebinder. I'd characterize my participation more as facilitating than running, but the distinction may be irrelevant in Kiros's eyes. Also speaking, and smuggling consoles is cool. As long as you don't play them during class, good on ya. Hope you're doing well. I have little enough to occupy our time here. Rostrom Length seems convinced that you're cheating every one of the rings. Rostrom had a string of bad luck, so it could be his angst manifested as suspicion. He pauses to think, brow furrowed. Okay. Tell Sophia praises the Woundkin, and I translate those impressions into the odds. Most of her expertise mirrors common sense. Bigger beast women are, after all, actually stronger and more resilient than smaller hunters. Ask her about it if you like. I'll return once I've spoken. Okay. How I do? Pretty okay. Tired, but alright. I'm looking for information you may have. Information is the one thing I can offer while trapped here. I'm sure you're looking for something important. I'm looking to do something important. If you can help me right on injustice, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. What injustice is that? You might have noticed an Earthshaker wandering about this place. That's Argaean, and he betrayed my unit the same way Can turned from his allies. The coward surrendered the moment blades were drawn. Now he spends his days cavorting with Jaspos. Lost in mystic foreplay with that fool who ought to be forging proper war iron, not polishing rocks. Can's rogue disciples were to be destroyed, yet in no way to satisfy that order short of strangling him with my legs. So I'm asking you for help. Give him the justice he deserves, and I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I'll think about it. I got all the time in the tears, Fatebinder. Think about it as long as you want. Where is this Argaean guy? There he is. Now what do you want? Everybody wants something now. Hey dude. I'll talk to you later. Well, that guy's a traitor, I suppose, so we should get rid of him. How do you know you have what I am asking? I might as well be an ornament atop this column. People either ignore me and whisper their secrets right under my nose or share them with me when they're missing a friendly ear. You'd be surprised how normal my presence here is considered. I know everything going on down here, whether you like it or not. He's as good as dead. Wonderful. That rare shouldn't be hard to find. The wound is exactly swimming in earth shakers after all. Let's get this quest here as well. Where are they? Unless this guy has anything. Hi, Isley. What's you got? Though she looked directly at you a moment earlier, the forge-bound gaze now appears unfocused and soft, fixated upon nothing in particular. Your footsteps break her silent reverie. She returns to the present with a quick shake of the head. Oh, Fatebinder. Sorry, I'm easily distracted these days, it seems. Anything particular you'd like to discuss? She offers a forced, polite smile, but can't contain it for more than a moment. What do you want to talk to me about? I hope I'm not troubling you over nothing. Insipid moniker is Wagstaff's prime lackey, or apprentice, depending on your perspective. She's been heading into the old walls in the dead of night, every night. I would have dismissed it all if not for the fact that she's taken woundkin with her on occasion, none of which have returned. How did you discover this? I've been really into my work lately, lost in the chisel, I guess, and finding myself up when most of the wound is asleep. Not every task needs a workbench, so I take my shirt, I take my grit, I go for a stroll, I see Insipid moniker. If it were just one night, I'd see her do this, but... If it were just one night, I'd see her do this, but... I'll look into it. I realize how nosy this makes me sound, but I notice she's being pretty habitual about her jaunts. Maybe wait until the proper hour she'll see you and you'll scare her away, assuming she has something to hide. Okay, I'll come back later. Okay. There's an important matter I need to discuss with you, but only outside, away from prying eyes. Well, if you saw the chorus gang squatting in the ruins outside, I guess it's safe to step outside and enjoy the fresh air. If it will assist you in your Fatebinder duties, I'll talk further. Okay. You're going to die.
Right.
You're gonna die tonight. Gonna die like a pig. Let's see, Karen's password, I suppose. Hellstrider. Okay, what was I going? I had an idea. Hold on. Let's write this down. Ba. Okay. Okay, where is that guy? Oh, what is that? Oh, it's just a climbing thingy. Oh, these fellas are gone entirely, huh? Okay. What is that? Guy's remains. Huh. Where is that guy gone? We did find him somewhere, right? Is he up there? Hmm. Ah, yes, he is. Hmm. The Arch figure watches their horizon from the overlook, taking in deep breaths of the crisp mountain air with a satisfied smile. Been a while since I could step out foot outside. Thanks for clearing out the chorus goons so upcoming these ruins. Now, what did you need to discuss, Fatebinder? For your disloyalty to this favored, I sentence you to death. The Earthshaker grits his teeth and spins his arms in a spiral pattern, lines of arcane energy visible across his fingertips. I'll not accept my death like some meek courtier slave. I've been well trained by the Guild and Legion. If I'm to die, I'll make sure you bleed in the process.
To battle!
Oh, you won't get a chance. Move out of the way so she can attack. Oh. It seems I'm in a bit of a pickle.
Smash to pieces!
Christ, dude.
Can't do that.
Okay.
Can't do that.
Completely obliterated that dude. Now how come Barrack's not getting any levels? Okay, he's leveling up very slowly. Hey, Harry, how you doing?
Sorry, I can't.
Cosmic. Oh. Space. Nice. Hold on.
Nice.
Let me press my soundboard a couple times.
Nice.
Nice. Skeleton. Oops, I almost pressed the wrong thing.
I'm a skeleton!
Oh, skeleton! Skeleton. Okay. Skelly great ass. That was a good one, yeah. Good work on that. Argaean is dead, and long last. Thank you, Fatebinder. The shame of this task left undone has eaten me at me more than starvation or these ropes tied about my wrists. She closed her eyes and exhaled deeply. Thank you, Fatebinder. My mind is yours now. Ask me what you will. Okay. I heard you set the odds for Mel's hunting party wagers. How do you do that? I was part of the advance in Azure before the edict ripped the landscape in Sharoon. I had to deal with tons of uncomfortable beastmen, so I know a thing or two about sizing up the mongrels. Can't do much else from here but watch, so I know details like injuries or beasts who don't play nice. They hide their wounds and act out, but I can always tell. It's not an easy thing to see, though, unless you're me. Mel comes by every now and then for idle talk. He feeds me leftovers. I feed him what I know in exchange, and he uses that to calculate his odds. Strange arrangement we have, but I like cheat just as much as everyone else. Okay, do you think you could be cheating? I wouldn't know, Fatebinder. I got keen eyes, but they don't get around much these days. I've seen the odds he sets, and they line up with what I tell him. Still, all the stronger beastmen have been dying lately. Bad luck, perhaps? I don't see that skinny crab could be causing that. Maybe it's poisoning them. Okay. One beast claimed to see humans in the old one was doing the hunt. Could a sleepless be wandering the depths, of course. She set off to investigate and never returned. Shouldn't have gone without the pack. Huh. Okay, interesting. Huh. Okay, so he's not cheating, it's just that something else is going on down there. Hmm. Hey, Mel. I spoke... Though Sophie can't explain what the strongest beastmen have been dying, the only explanation is that they have been deliberately hunted by someone from the wound. Okay. Mel begins a stammer-filled reply before catching himself with a sigh. No, evasion at this point wouldn't be preposterous. You've a keen mind for sniffing out connections between events. Well suited for sagely endeavors, actually. You're right. Someone is killing beastmen, and it's Tonvis. You should know that this whole killing business wasn't my idea. He nurses his brow. I saw him returning from the old walls late one night with beastmen blood staining his smock and weapons. He was careful to avoid the handlers, but didn't catch me observing him. The next day word arrived that one of the hunters had been fallen through the bane. When I saw Tonvis later with a fresh hide for tanning, it became all too obvious. I confronted him and he suggested that I use my advantage to profit from it. He'd even defied the gambling odds so that I could get a greater share of rings. I agreed more out of fright than anything else. Tonvis is a skilled hunter, after all. If he could take down beastmen, he could easily silence me. I do know of his most recent plans. He produces a pen and parchment, hastily draws a map to a specific location the old map wall's depths. And there, that's where Tonvis lures his victims, and where he doubtlessly killed another beastman recently. If you go and inspect any bodies, I'm sure you'll find proof of his involvement. You should hurry before the other beastmen find it and remove all evidence in the cleansing ritual. Okay, what do you mean? Oh, you're not aware? Beastmen have a curious burial right for their fallen. Mel grimaces, unable to hide the distaste. They eat the dead. Many tribes see this as a way of keeping their packmates close, quite literally, it seems. Beastmen also tend to believe that some measure of narrow strength can be captured upon consumption. At any rate, once the wound-killing hunters discover they're dead, they'll perform the ritual. You had best hurry. Okay, I'll go. Okay. Take this keystone. It'll grant you access to the southernmost portal in this settlement. From there, you'll find the spot where Tonvis lures his victims. Mel unfastens the pouch and hands it to you. Wait, what? Shaking his head, he turns away with a heavy sigh. Okay, well. Okay, Oh, okay, this is a different area.
Strange.
Can't do that.
Smells strange. What is that? Oh, we're over
Can't
here.
do that.
I guess. Huh. Phantom shape. What is that? A cat? Well, most cats spend the day napping and hunt at night. This little black kitten does neither. While he accepts food placed in front of him, he mostly stares blankly ahead, his silent vigil interrupted by occasional yawn. With Phantom Shade curled up against your side, you feel particularly aware of the dangers of Terratus. Immune to prone, you can't fall over. God dang, okay. Let's grab this cat, I suppose. Huh. What do I do with this? Form, more vitality, 1 quickness. Let's get this cat. Meow meow. Just hanging out. Ooh, iron axe. Okay. The corpse of a woundkin lays in a heap at your feet. While the corpse is cold, the lack of decay suggests that the beast has recently met its end. Examine. Broken bones distend the woundkin's heavily bruised flesh. The injuries appear to have been caused by a large blunt object. Huh. 4-pound armor fragment. Huh.
Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't.
Yes, you can. Okay.
Sorry, I can't.
Yes, we can. You returned. Okay, him. Now where do you
Can't do
find
that.
this guy? What do you want me to do? Tonavus. Where is this Tonavus fella? Isley. Wag staff. You gonna die now. Okay. Was there a problem? You need something? You're bleeding, right where your vambrace has been damaged. I am? He raised his left arm and glanced at the torn metal, stuffing the gap hastily with a rag. Strange, I must have been distracted earlier. Probably snagged us on the spiked hammer while working. Another thing that'll need to be fixed. He shakes his head. Hold up the missing piece of armor. Recognize this? Confess. Fuck. He snatches the missing piece of his vambrace and throws it to the floor. I had to do it for Jazzpaws. That's as plain as I can say it. I respect our Woundkin, they're good warriors and neighbors. It paid me to do them harm. Why did Jazzpaws make you kill Beastmen? He needs Beastman bone for his sieves. Without it, we'd all catch withering rot from the water. When Reef Talon was still here, Woundkin could donate teeth and talon, and she'd use her magic to make sure they regrew. Between that and Beastmen sometimes dying on the hunt, we had enough bone to keep the sieves flowing all day. But with Reef Talon gone, our hunters can't donate anymore. Jaspers told me that I had to find a way to gather Beastman bones or we'd all die. I didn't have a choice. You decided murdering Beastmen was a solution. What would you have done? Jaspers made it clear that what we needed. If we didn't clean that water, we'd all either die or be forced to the surface. Truth is that the wound is still going because of what I did. The Beastmen always either fall and leave the hide and bones behind. All I needed to do was separate and kill an injured Beastman out on the hunt and let the others consume the evidence. I thought it was the best route among shit routes. Why'd you bring Mel into this? Why did I? This was a fucking bookworm thought to make a profit from this. He spit to the ground. Mel caught me returning this with hide and bone at an odd hour, sussed it out before I could think of an excuse, and forced me to give an advance word of any killings for his little gambling operation. Bastard made me go after the larger and healthier beastmen. And for what? Just so that he could buck the odds and pocket more rings. I didn't have a choice. If I didn't kill the ones he wanted, he'd expose me. Okay, so him. Did you truly believe this is the way to keep Bastard's wound going? I wouldn't have done it if I thought otherwise. Facts are facts. Neither Wagstaff or Jaspers can keep up with demand as is. Imagine how much worse it would be if Jaspers couldn't provide any clean water at all. If you stop me from doing what needs to be done, the wound will die. Mel is the one being reckless here. He only cares about rings. If you can get him off my back, that'll mean I can go back to only killing old or weakened Woundkin. We need the strong one to stay safe from the Bane. So he did cheat. I know what he told those gambling idiots. I'll just say this. Does he strike you as a particularly honest fellow? I wouldn't trust him. I'm gonna talk to him. You will? I figured you'd just take my head and be done with it. I might. His lips come together to form a faint smile. Tonvas's eyes suddenly widen in alarm. He takes an instinctive step backwards. No. Mel's a crafty one. He's held the murders over my head ever since he found out. Threatening to reveal what I've done to everyone. He'll have half the wound up in arms over me. Tonvas moves quickly through the forge, grabbing tools and weapons from nearby racks and tables. I'm not running, but I'm not going to give myself up to an angry mob. I head to the old walls and wait for news from you. After you talk to Mel, come find me. You already know where to go. He drops a well-worn hammer into a belt loop and rushes out of the forge. Man. This place is a mess. We gotta get the Beast Woman leader back here. Okay, because everyone else sucks. Okay. And we got told about, like, the secrets anyway, so... I spoke to Tonvas. He made it clear that you forced him to target the strongest beastman, all for profit. He said that, did he? You didn't declare again. I know an explanation is in order. Tonvas never knew my true motivation, which was decidedly not in service of rings. When I confronted him about the killings, I saw an opportunity to turn his crimes into something that would help us all. He leans forward and lowers his voice. The wound's well-being is also my well-being, and I've seen what others have been happy to ignore. Not all the beastmen care for our current arrangement. When Reef Talon was with us, she stamped down dissent within the beastmen. This place may look like a miraculous experiment between our races, but its success rests upon a shaky foundation. Ever since she left, I've seen more of the dominant beastmen voice concerns. He even suggested they leave us humans to fend for ourselves. That, of course, would be unmitigated disaster. Okay. Oh, Mira. I told Thomas that I'd keep the secret, as long as I dictated which beastmen he could kill. Not surprisingly, the noisiest woundkin were often the toughest, but that was purely coincidence. These killings have kept the settlement going. I took no pleasure in it, and that I gained a few rings in the process was entirely accidental. Okay. You were very illegal, huh? Okay. If the beastmen abandon their duties, the settlement will fall. You may both continue, but exercise caution. You will cease all gambling. Dawn was wrong and must put an end. If the beastmen both abandon their duties, the settlement will fall. You may both continue, but exercise. Okay. See. Highly illegal. Including wasting my time. Expect suitable payment for the court. All the scheming stops now. He pressed his lips together tightly, a restrained expression of consternation. Yes, of course you're correct. Murder is a crime, but what civility is not built upon an unsavory foundation? He raises his arms in a placating gesture. But you are the fate binder. If Tonwas must stop his work, then we'll just have to find another way to keep the present arrangement agreeable to our beastmen brothers and sisters. If there's nothing else, then I'm afraid the habits and manifests require my attention. Okay. God dang it. Okay. Where does it go, I wonder? Here maybe? I sentence you guilty. That shouldn't be at the bottom there, but he's guilty. I need to fix that. There you are. I assume Mel didn't convince all the wound to hang me? Donvis shifts uncomfortably and averts his gaze from the dead beast woman. Many would call an execution here and now. How exactly do you lure beastmen to this location? The wound can trust me. I hunt and bleed with them, and so asking one to follow me is a simple matter. His eyes flicked down to the corpse for a moment. Thomas's face flushed a deep crimson. Human abuse is bond of the hunt. Slow soul death is best ready for such decisions. Okay. Any excuse will do. I just had to approach beastmen that were separated from their hunting parties and stay out of sight from the nest. Okay. You die now. Do it, Faintbinder. If these are my last breaths, I'd like to spend them believing there is some justice in Terratus. His face has stoke mask of cold resignation. He kneels over the dead beast woman and gives you an imploring stare. You oblige, stepping forward and driving a blade into his heart. As he collapses next to his former victim, their blood slowly pulls together, buoying their bodies weakly above the chill of old wall's floor. Okay. Die, fool. Okay. Didn't want to do it, but you punk asses forced me. Okay, better. Thomas is no longer with the wound. Did you kill him? He hesitated before voicing the question. Thomas is dead. I see. A terrible end, but a necessary one. Thomas struck me as a conflicted man. I will be charitable when noting his passing in the log. He unfurls a compact parchment and roll and jots down the events with a quick flourish of his pen. With this sad situation behind us, the Woundkin can return to only worrying about the pain, and I can return to my duties. Since I've taken care of your problem for you, I'll expect some of your profits in payment. Haha, you conducted this investigation just to extract some rings? Mel offers you an incredulous stare, and a small price to pay to keep the settlers happy. If there's nothing else, Fatebinder, I'm afraid these manifests will require my attention. Now we talk to guys, to the person who asks me to investigate this thing. Link. I looked into the matter. You did? So did my suspicions bear fruit? I'll admit I secondly guess myself on most things these days. Turns out Thomas is killing Woundkin on patrol. I put an end to it. Truly, killing our own is, well, something I'd expect from the voices of Narat, not from us. His maimed arm twitches as he speaks. Had I made my sword arm, I would siege Thomas myself. If you took care of it, all the better. My thanks, Fatebinder. Gotta go. And there's somebody else sneaking around, huh? Return to Ironheart and speak with the Archon. Okay. This person. Insipid moniker only ventures in the old walls, and specifically at night. Yeah, it's recycling. It's useful, you know. Okay, Isley. Tell me what you want. Okay. Have you seen Argaean recently? His duties normally keep him near the forge, and he's gone for a while. He had enemies in the wound. I sent him away for his own safety. He's gone? Isley's eyes widen in disbelief. Then you did him a kindness. Jaspers couldn't protect him forever. With luck, he'll be able to return in safer times. But let's track Insipid moniker. I realize how nosy this makes me sound, but the notice is pretty habitual. Wait until evening. Okay. Follow Insipid moniker, huh? Look at him. Go sneaky.
I'm ready to go. Hunt, stalk, prowl.
Ready to go. Go. Gotta go. Yeah, sneaking is loud. She announced it very loudly, didn't she? Isn't this where Insipid moniker usually hangs out with? Oh, she goes that way. Okay.
On it. Sorry, I can't. Sorry.
I like it's the beastmen talks like, yeah, these beastmen do talk a lot like Skaven do actually.
Shadow understands.
They really do. Okay. Ba-dong.
Kills in shadow understands.
Look at him. Whoa, how do we end up here? What the hell? What is this place? Dark and hollow. Examine. The air shimmers heat. A board of flickering arcane fire marking an impassable barrier. Huh. Interesting. Ba-da-ba-ba-bing. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Nicely. Okay, do-do-do-do-do. Metro Space Cadet 999, I'm sorry about your itchy fingers. Hello. How you doing? No, she looked directly at you a moment earlier. The forge-bound's gaze now appears unfocused and soft, fixated upon nothing in particular. Your footsteps break her silent reverie. She returns to the present with a quick shake of the head. Oh, Fatebinder, sorry, I'm easily distracted these days, it seems. Anything in particular you'd like to discuss? A tracer pass was blocked by a magical flaming barrier of some sort. You're good, and me? I'm doing okay. A little tired, but pretty alright. Enjoy me some tyranny. A tracer path was blocked by a magical flaming barrier of some sort. I heard Wagstaff is teaching her magic, but no way she could... Well, not by herself. Nicely cups her chin pensively. Fire makes me think blood chanters. Maybe she liberated something from an old chorus rival? Or she figured out a way to control an old wall trap, but to my knowledge, those traps don't use fire but some other sort of arcane energy. If you're short on ideas, you could always speak with a prisoner, tell us Sophia. She sees everything from her perch, and most everyone talks to her at some point during the day, so maybe she's seen something or heard something that could point out you in the right direction. Could be. Hey, Jazzpaws, your dudes are dying.
Sorry, I can't.
This guy is really mad that I didn't give him his stupid tools.
I can't.
Do-do-do-grrr. Tell us, Sophia? I'm trying to figure out how insipid moniker passes through a magic barrier in the old walls. It's amazing what people say around the prisoner. I overheard that Wagstaff whispering about just that not long ago. She grins, shaking her head. Insipid was bragging about some kind of control token which manipulates the barrier. She keeps it tucked away in a hole in the wall behind the chorus banner. That should give you a start. Okay, Interesting. Where is that chorus banner? I wonder. Okay, probably where she hangs out somewhere. No. Get that thing. Do. I could have sworn we went into this one before and didn't lead where I thought it led, but I guess maybe she changed it. Nice. Huh. Oh, she's just hanging out in there, huh? Merciful Kyros, what have these people done here? Oh my god. The fetid stenches of blood and feces assault you as you step into the chamber. Oh, don't they need... Yeah, they need beastman blood to purify the water, right? Excitement in her eyes, Insipid Moniker struts around the blood-caked room, issuing commands energetically. You know, this place sucks. I'm gonna condemn this whole place to death. No. Don't keep cutting into the mongrel at the same spot. The scars will get knotted and tough, and we'll lose a bleeding site. Put the bucket by his ribs and slice horizontally. She turns to you with momentary disbelief. Okay. Fuck. And this had been such a good day, too. Her hands move quickly to rest upon the weapons hanging from her belt. Okay. What's going on here? You weren't meant to see this. We're collecting donations from these, generous beastmen. Wagstaff needs beastman blood. Lots of it. You think these tainted waters cleanse themselves? He said we'd die without it and intend to deliver. She wipes her stained hands with a grubby rag. Donations? These don't seem like willing volunteers. Yeah, well, maybe relying strictly on the charity of beasts wasn't enough anymore. Your solution was to create a blood farm, where there are no other solutions. You're a Fatebinder. I know you've seen and tolerated worse. We don't kill any of the creatures and gather only enough blood to keep the settlement going. I'd call that restraint on my part. What changed when the donations went away? Reef Town used to heal her kith after they donated, so they could give more at a time. Pretty much all she was good for. After she left, our beastmen couldn't donate as much without getting too weak to hunt. Our reserves ran low and Wagstaff needed more. That's where I came in. You seem to enjoy your work. The settlement would have run its course without me. No shame in taking a little pride in one's duty. She narrows her eyes, challenging you to claim otherwise. Long 'cause the good people down here get their water, they don't need to know what I'm doing to fill their bellies. Why should I allow this then? No dancing around it. Someone's going to suffer. Only a question of whether it's men and women or beasts. No need for everyone to go down with a ship. I didn't build the ship and I sure as fuck didn't choose to board her. But I'm here now and I'm keeping her afloat, which is more than most can say. Okay. I don't want to kill you, but I can't let this atrocity continue. Make your choice, Fatebinder. We've already made ours. She rests her hands upon her belt, mere inches from her weapons. Okay. Your life is forfeit. Just like the old times, boys. Whoever kills the Fatebinder against a week weight of my water rations. Drawing a blade from her belt, insipid moniker rushes at you with a feral cry. Okay. God damn it, you bastards. We might be dooming this place for the long term, you know, considering, this place sucks, you know, this whole bastard wound area. Everybody's a bastard. No wonder it's called Bastard's Wound, huh? Okay, Let's just have the beastmen live here, honestly. Who cares about everybody else?
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yep.
They'd be feeling that one. Get back here.
Die. God dang. Really tearing into these guys.
This is useless. I should try something else.
God dang.
Curious.
Curious. Damage lighter shield, exquisite. Huh. Keystones, huh? Horde boots. Interesting. Maybe Landry could use these. Although he's pretty slow already. Whoa. Heavy leather helm, light armor. Okay. Heavy cloth sandals. Bronze the bar axe. A bit slower, but... Oh, look at me. Ha 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 ha. Look at my stash. Really brings out my stash, this helmet. Stalker's Shackle. What is that? A helmet? Grants invisibility. Ooh. This is not as good. But maybe he can wear it. Okay, he looks messed up. He looks like a gimp now. Free the woundkin. Yeah, we're gonna have a woundkin a rebellion of the beast people on our hands, I think. Okay. If they all find out what's been going on. I suppose they'll put us down here now. Okay, can change where this goes. Okay, I see. This will take us down down below to where we were previously. Yes, interesting. Which means we can go so much more places. Okay. Okay. So everybody is gonna die in this place now. The guy's apprentice who will take on this purifying craft is dead. That guy is dead. Maybe we can just solve the source of the nasty water in the first place, you know. Though she looked directly at you a moment earlier, I was able to follow the same moniker. She has a basement prison of some sort. It's used to siphon blood from her captured victims. What, like a blood farm? She couldn't do that without Wagstaff blessing. Isley stares at you, mouth agape. It's over. Insipid Moniker is dead and the captive beastmen have been released. Thank you, Fatebinder. I can't believe one of our own would do this, even one as depraved as Insipid Moniker. And I think I always didn't mention this to you. She smiles, visibly relieved from by the turn of events. I have troubled you enough. Thank you again. Okay. We've dealt with it. Sophia. Let's go talk to Wagstaff about his dealings. All these people are terrible. These poor beast people. Okay. Not that like my guys want to talk though, considering we have beastmen slaves working the forges in one town, but okay. Oh, they're all angry at me as hell. Screw 'em. Oh, we can't change this one though. They're not kept captives, yeah. I suppose it's somewhat better in a way. And there's it's a little better, yeah. Okay. One guy was killing the beastmen for their bones and skins. Another guy was bleeding them for their blood just to purify the water. God dang, this place sucks. A bunch of jerk asses in here. I don't think we can do anything here at this point. We need to get a key to open this, but we can't. We can't do it yet. So we're gonna have to go and come back when we find it somewhere else, I think. I guess that's my idea here. Phew. Missing torch keys, huh?
Sorry, I can't.
Okay. Unless there's somebody else here that can give us what we need. And this doesn't open. That doesn't open.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
This isn't the only place we've seen a crystal like that. There's a different segment of the old walls we could go to and also had one. I guess there's nothing else here. We can't go there because of the water.
Sorry, I
we can't press that button.
Sorry, I can't.
Because of that thing. Okay, I suppose we just leave for now. Ads are starting. Oh, I didn't get the notification. Okay, well, ad break, I suppose. You know what? After the ad break, let's switch games because it's about time. So yeah. Main screen, go. Yeah, that's Tyranny. I think this area is like a DLC area, and it's a pretty substantial one. It's nice. So, it's a pretty interesting place. I will finish the mystery of it next week, though. Because it is time for us to, play some Shadow Gambit. Before it gets too late, you know? That will be the last game this week. I don't know if I'll get a new game for next week, though. We might have to clear out the schedule a little bit.
I'm a skeleton!
Because we finished Grime yesterday. So, yeah.
Bad to the bone.
Shadow Bandit. Shadow Gambit, even. But yeah, let's take that ad break real fast, and I'll come back in a bit with a new game. And, yeah. Stay with me. Sha.